Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Project Infinite podcast, the podcast covering the infinite, ever-expanding multiverse of fandom, from movies, comics, TV shows, video games. We got you covered. I'm here, as always. I'm Rob. I'm here with Court, and Court, it's a fun week.
It is a fun week. You've been waiting for this your whole life.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one, but I don't want to spoil the topic yet because I have it perfectly set up for the news to segue perfectly into the topic. And man, I can't wait to talk about some of this stuff because some of this news, some of which is breaking news at the time that we're recording this, is absolutely wild.
To the point where you said it, and right when we were about to hop on, and I said, "What? What's going on?"
Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. But first, as podcast edict dictates, we have Oppenheimer news. So
we have the news of news this time.
That has to start. So the Oppenheimer trailer has hit the internets. So this was the teaser that played before Nope, and this movie looks like it's going to be really, really, really great.
That might be an understatement. It just looks absolutely... I mean, the atmosphere of what Nolan's crafted for this. I mean, this is his first film with Universal, which is something to be noted. So without Warner Brothers, I mean, it looks incredible. Kind of the feel that you get for it, the world you're kind of thrown into, it just looks really, really intriguing. And we're learning about one of history's, most important men. So this is going to be something that people are this film's just going to be eaten alive when it comes out, like consumed just intently.
So this movie's in black and white or just the trailer?
I think it might be in black and white. Bold choice, because he's bringing it back to his first, big, I wouldn't say like big theatrical release, but his first theatrical release, Memento. So
I mean, it only makes sense. You pit a movie that's void of color against a movie that is nothing but color.
Yeah, we had to talk about it. This movie, both of these movies need to come out on the same day. They can't delay, and I have a feeling that one of them's going to delay, and if it were to be one, I feel at this point it could be Barbie, because I feel like they're done shooting Oppenheimer. So if there was a movie, Greta, don't let this movie get delayed. Get this movie out we need the war.
Take Nolan on.
Take Nolan head on. Margot Robbie said that the Barbie script was one of the greatest scripts she's ever read.
And she was in Wolf of Wall Street.
She's in Wolf of Wall Street. She was in She's worked with Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. She's probably read some good scripts.
Yeah, I'd say so.
This is the one.
This is the one, apparently. Man, I can't wait.
Me neither.
It's one of those. It's gonna be one of those days that is just like it needs to happen.
Yeah,
we need this.
It's gonna be like the Minions, like when the Minions was coming out, or like
you can postpone your Marvel movies. You can postpone Avengers: Secret Wars. Don't postpone either of these movies.
No, they need to come out on the same day. Need is an understatement. They need it. Like, it's just imperative to movie culture for these movies to come out on the same day.
But Oppenheimer does really great. Like you can't. It has one of those, like, it has a tone.
Yeah, it
does. The tone is like established immediately.
Right.
And I can't wait to see more of it. More trailers. More everything. I need to see more of this cast.
Yeah, this is a nuclear cast.
All right. I see what you did there. On to the wacky world of DC for a second, which we're gonna get back to later, but. Right now, so two things happened over the last week, one of which happened like a couple hours ago or like an hour ago. The first bit of news is Ben Affleck is back.
Right. Which was leaked, essentially. It wasn't a leak and like somebody like reported it. It was leaked in the fact that Jason Momoa like went to his trailer, and one of like the whatever you call them, like drive through like the studios or whatever the tours, like they saw him, and then I guess Ben Affleck was back that way, and then Jason Momoa was like, "All right, we're releasing the picture, and he's back for Aquaman 2." Yeah,
so Ben Affleck Batman is going to be in the Aquaman sequel.
Please don't get your hopes up. He's if I were a betting man, I would say he's going to be in this movie for 30 seconds. I don't think he's going to be even an inkling of a significant role.
Well, apparently what this is because of all the shuffling that's been going on with these DC movies, that this was supposed to be Michael Keaton's Batman, because Michael Keaton is apparently going to be the main Batman now in whatever weird DC universe we have going. And
why?
Because this movie got pushed past...
No, not that why. Why would Michael Keaton be the main Batman in your universe?
Because he's famous? Because he's the best Batman? And they need all the good graces they can get?
I don't even want to talk about it too intently because it's going to make my brain hurt.
I hope you're not too full on baffling decisions, because they double barreled us with baffling decisions. So this is the news that dropped like an hour and a half ish ago. Batgirl, the movie that we both been kind of looking forward to, is done. It's canceled.
Yeah, so I think the word that they used was shelved, but I don't know. It just, like you said, this movie's been quote unquote maybe canceled, or just...
They've said effectively canceled is what's going on.
Wow.
Because Warner Brothers has apparently come down with this edict that they only want like big kind of bombastic feature films for their DC properties, and
the question
Batgirl doesn't fit that description, I guess.
But I thought Batgirl was releasing on HBO Max regardless.
That was the plan,
so
but now nothing.
Why do we need these big bombastic movies?
So
I don't know why I'm asking you as if you're an executive at Warner Brothers.
As the representative for Warner Brothers, I guess I have to defend this, but
it just doesn't make sense. They took Brandon Fraser being Firefly away from us.
It makes the least amount of sense.
Yeah, doesn't.
As much as anything as I've seen.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. The thing that's been working for DC over the last, how many years? 4 years, has been their solo projects. Birds of Prey. I personally think that's a really good underrated movie that people will not give the benefit of the doubt, that don't really want to consume that movie. What else you have? Shazam is a great example too, and Shazam Fury of the Gods looks good as well. I thought the first Aquaman was cool. It's not something to be critically, rated, but I thought it's just a fun time. Like, their solo projects
it's probably the most
working.
Comic booky movie that they've done.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
It's between that and Shazam, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, but
it's like the most and then Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie is
and
unbelievable.
Then the Suicide Squad, like these movies, and then the Suicide Squad bleeding into Peacemaker, like the solo projects and like the wackier, projects where they're not concerned with the overall, bigger broad spectrum of the DCEU. They've been working.
Also, why are we doing this to Batgirl, but we're just seeming on ahead with this Flash movie?
Right, you would think this Flash, and I think it's because this Flash movie was essentially going to be like, an Avengers level type of deal, is what it was. I guess to them, it didn't look like it, but it was panning out to them that it was going to be this, this big multiversal crossover. But I'm just very confused, and I just don't know why this Flash movie is just full steam ahead after all, all the controversy surrounding it. Like,
because you can't even say anymore, well, it's done. So
it's not.
Yeah, they have to put it out. Batgirl was done.
They shot the whole movie.
It's in was in post-production.
Yeah.
So, that means it's done, and we're getting ready to put it together.
Yeah, and really, really unfortunate for Leslie Grace, who I thought was going to be a pretty cool Batgirl. I think this was supposed to take because this movie was supposed to take place after, right? It was supposed to take place after the Flash movie comes out.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Michael Keaton was slated to be in it as Batman,
right?
And J.K. Simmons was supposed to be in it,
right? He was supposed to play
Gordon.
Yeah, he was supposed to play her father. So don't know where this decision comes from. I personally don't think this is a good decision at all. But
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
have you ever seen anything like this, where a big budget movie like this has been done?
Yeah, it's not like this is some indie movie or some really small low level TV show. Like, this was a theatrical movie, so I mean, the fear now is Blue Beetle. I was super excited to see Zola Maridueña kind of take the mantle of a pretty modern loved character like Blue Beetle and kind of run with that. I think we're going to get Ted Kord in that movie. Did they say, wasn't it Jason Sudeikis is playing Ted Kord? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we know that the villain is going to be Ted Kord's wife.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was Jason Sudeikis is playing Ted Kord, which is a cool pickup for the DCEU, but yeah, I just don't know what direction they're headed in. They don't have a Superman. They don't know who their Batman is. Michael Keaton's almost, how old is he? He's in his
60s or 70s.
Yeah, he's almost in his 70s, if I'm not mistaken. I just don't know if that's the direction. I know there's that storyline 52 where there's no Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, so all the other heroes are kind of taking, the reins of the Justice League, but this is unintentional. That was intentional. This is just a series of unfortunate events.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
This is so weird.
It's the most bizarre thing I think I've heard.
Yeah, it's this whole, and we're not gonna sit here and like defend a studio or anything, or like, you know, trash a studio. However, you just look at what Marvel did last weekend, and like I hear people complain about these smaller projects, and I'm like, look what they did just with having a plan. Like, there just feels like there's no plan at DC.
No.
Right.
I mean, they came to Comic-Con last week with Shazam and Black Adam, and that was it.
Right. And then it was just easily forgotten a couple hours later.
Yeah. And both those things look pretty promising.
They do, yeah.
But that's all you're bringing? And then you're canceling movies that have already been shot and finished?
Yeah. They probably should have brought something from Batgirl to there, but you know what? Now that I think about it, they probably did have something for Batgirl before they knew it was canceled, so they probably like, don't bring it, because this is going to end real bad.
It's just super unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But we got to move on, because
just like Warner Brothers from Batgirl, got to move on.
So Andor got another trailer, and this show looks really good.
It looks so good. This is like a visual marvel, and the showrunners and directors said they're going back to the old ways. I'm pulling the dark side from the Schneider cut. We're gonna bring back the old ways. But yeah, they shot on locations, and they were using practical sets, and
no volume.
Volume's still good. Maybe not the CGI, because, you know, CGI will maybe cause some people to lose their minds and work 80-hour weeks. So don't do it anymore, Marvel.
I think
Disney.
the volume is good for like big open kind of sweeping landscape type settings,
and I think cities too. And I'm specifically talking about the Batman when I talk about cities. Like, if you can't get the cityscape, I couldn't tell until I found out it was the sound stages. So, they used it really well, but there's a happy medium that we found, and those are the two options. I think CGI might be, you know, like having big CGI worlds might be this might be the first inkling of it kind of passing us by. Obviously you need CGI in certain instances, but I'm talking in terms of like your setting of where you are. They might just start using sound stages and having that be the you know, the industry standard. But this, like you said, this trailer looks incredible. It visually looks so good. There's just one issue. I don't know how invested I am in this, and maybe I'm just being a bad fan, but I don't know. And this isn't like we know where their fate's headed. If that was the case, we would have been out on Obi-Wan. We would have been out on so many things, but I don't know. I don't know if Cassian Andor is a character that you back a whole show on.
Yeah, exactly. Especially a show that is going to be, 12 episodes?
I think it's either 9 or 12. It's a decently long season.
And is already getting a second season?
Right, yeah, which begs the question, because isn't the show supposed to end right where Rogue One picks up?
I think that's where the second season is going to end now. And the first season's going to be like his like origin story, I guess. But it looks good.
Yeah, cast is good.
It looks like an intriguing like political thriller.
Right, yeah, it looks like a half political thriller, half like spy thriller. Like, it's like a cool... It just makes the Star Wars universe feel more lived in from like a street level perspective. But again, I just don't know. You know what? I might change this a little bit. It looks cool and the story could be interesting. I feel like the person that's going to suffer the most is Cassian Andor, because like he's like the least interesting thing, and it's not Diego Luna's fault. I just think it's the perspective of where the show is, because the whole trailer, like, he's in the trailer a bit, but it's just, I feel like he's not the focus of the trailer.
Yeah. So
interesting, you know, idea to call this Andor. Maybe if they would have called it something different, I would have been a little bit more intrigued, but just knowing that this is supposed to be a show about Cassian Andor, I don't know.
We're getting 3 episodes on September 21st, which I think it was pushed back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they did that because I don't think they want it to collide with She-Hulk.
Yeah, because I think there is still a little bit of gap, like overlap with She-Hulk, but I don't think it's going to be... Because what's probably going to happen is they're going to release the first 3 episodes, and then there's going to be a lull, because I'm going to bank on the She-Hulk season finale probably being a big setup for something, because that's the way they're kind of... Just based off the last 2 trailers we've gotten for She-Hulk, it's starting to ramp up a little bit, so I just don't think they want to...
Sidebar about She-Hulk. It looks so good.
It does, and like that looks like the most MCU thing. Like, talk about living in the MCU, like a lived-in MCU. Like, we're getting into like the literally picking up like a comic book phase of the MCU. Like, that's how it feels. Like, anybody can show up anywhere, and it's like beings and characters will just be around, just hanging out.
And her breaking the fourth wall, being like, this isn't going to be a show where there's a cameo every episode, except for Bruce and Wong.
And Blonsky.
And Blonsky.
Nothing big.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm really impressed with the visuals of that Andor trailer. But I guess it's not surprising because it does feel like they want to kind of build off the back of, I think it's between Rogue One and Last Jedi as far as like the best visually striking Star Wars movies.
You're just going to disrespect Empire like that?
I mean,
I know what you mean. I just wanted to,
And it feels like they're trying to recapture that part of like the Rogue One aesthetic, at least of like living up to the visual of it.
And we didn't get a lot of time in Rogue One too. We didn't get a lot of time with Rogue One and kind of that sect of the Star Wars world. So this is the extension of it, just how Peacemaker is the extension of the Suicide Squad.
Right. So Nick Offerman has been officially cast in Mission Impossible 8.
I love the new age Mission Impossible movies with a burning passion. I've said it on here before. I think Mission Impossible Fallout's one of the best action movies that's ever been made, period. Like, in terms of movie making, it's incredible what Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise are able to kind of connect together and just... Again, going back to the old ways of, like, the old thought process of making movies and making blockbusters without having the Marvel or TC tag or Star Wars tag on it. So, if you guys want a dramatic role from Nick Offerman, you definitely got to check out Devs on Hulu. I watched that when the pandemic started. I was home alone and it just messed my brain up. And it was it's one of my favorite shows that I've ever watched. It's from Alex Garland, that... famous for, I mean, maybe not as famous, or he still is famous, but notorious for Men now, so apparently not critically acclaimed as people thought it would be, but I mean, specifically Ex Machina and Annihilation from Alex Garland, so another sci-fi kind of realm he dips into. Nick Offerman's brilliant in that show. I remember when I watched the trailer and then I watched the first episode, I'm like, oh, this, I feel like this is Nick Offerman's new bag. So yeah, I can't wait for him to join the Mission Impossible.
Join the person that's the biggest movie star in the world right now.
Yeah, still
Tom Cruise.
We didn't even talk about, we got Glenn Powell and Jonathan Majors together.
Yep.
Flying planes.
Yeah, both those stars quickly ascending in the world of film.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors obviously off the back of Lovecraft Country and entering the MCU as King the Conqueror, and Glenn Powell fresh off the back of Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, let's not forget that Jonathan Majors is also going to play the antagonist in Creed 3. So he's got a heavy schedule ahead of him, so it's a great time to be a fandom fan. It's a great time.
So we just recently celebrated the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. So needless to say, we got some Spider-Man news related to Across the Spider-Verse. We can now confirm that Cyborg, Spider-Woman, and Spider-Punk are going to be in this movie.
That's what I'm talking about.
I can't wait.
You want to talk about just absolutely amazing movie experiences?
Into the Spider-Verse. It
was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those movies where you don't forget. I think it's one of the best animated movies that's ever been made, and rightfully so. Won Best Animated Picture at the Oscars, where just an unprecedented category for, like, you know, superhero animation. So just an incredible attention to detail that the what's the word escaping me? That the directors have. I don't know why directors escape me, but I can't wait for that. I don't care what Spider-Man they throw in there. It doesn't matter. They're just going to be great.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where it's like this bombastic. They're just going bigger than the first movie, and in a weird way, like, you would think you'd be hesitant about that, but the way the first movie handled everything was so good that I don't have any doubt that this movie's going to be good.
That makes kind of that franchise so, you know, amazing, for lack of a better term, is I think it's because the heart is, like, it's the one thing that never gets lost in translation. Like, the lessons it gives you and kind of the heart that just bleeds through it. It's incredible what they were able to craft, and can't wait to see that keep going.
Yeah, agreed. Then the last bit of news that I have, which is segueing right into our main topic, is that The Flash, the TV show, is going to be coming to an end next season.
Interesting timing.
Yeah.
that this Flash movie can't get off the ground, and then the Flash ends.
Yeah, so the Flash TV show will be ending with a abridged 9th season of 13 episodes, and we're going to be seeing the end of Grant Gustin's Barry Allen on screen. And
Or so we think.
potentially, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. So just quick thoughts on the. I mean, we'll probably do a bigger episode on the Flash,
right?
But just quick thoughts right now on this series coming to an end after nine years.
It's so funny that you see people online like this show is bad, it's stupid, it's cheesy, whatever. A 9 season run is so unprecedented for TV. Like, people don't understand how many TV shows get canceled. Like, I feel like more TV shows get canceled than keep running, and for 9 seasons on top of that, it's incredible. So, I mean,
we're not talking like Netflix, 6 to 10 episode seasons. We're talking full 22 to 23 episodes,
right.
Aside from this ninth season coming that's going to be shortened.
Right. So, no, I mean, when that show was coming out, it was my favorite TV show. Like, it was week to week going out of my way to make sure I watched this. And just funny the way it lines up, because it always came back the week of my birthday. So it's like an extra birthday present. Like, that season 1 magic was just, it's so difficult to create that. And a bunch of credit goes to Grant Gustin for playing the Flash. I mean, you're talking about one of the most classic superheroes ever. Like, that's the speedster. Like, and he played it so gracefully, I think, is the best way. Like, he balanced just that youthful exuberance with like this, not burden, but like this, this weight of being, Central City's hero. And like, he just did it so well. And it's just amazing to see what he's done. So I hope Grant Gustin has a super long career with whatever he wants to do. Maybe come over to the movies, help them out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that could potentially be a step that is taken, or, I still do think that he's going to show up in this Flash movie in some form or fashion.
There's no way that Ezra Miller was in Crisis, but he's not going to be in the Flash movie that deals with the multiverse.
Yeah, I would still count on that being a thing, but man, like you said, a 9 season run for a live action superhero TV show is not something to be scoffed at or taken lightly at all. Especially since it outlived, the show that we're going to talk about, and the show that
you spoiled it,
and the show that kind of paved the way for the Flash. It outran Arrow, it outran Legends of Tomorrow, it outran all the others that obviously have not come to that kind of season. I mean, you look at a show like Supernatural that went for 13 seasons, and the Flash nearly caught that. So it's kind of nuts that we came this far with this character.
And a show like the Flash gets so much more scrutiny because it's a superhero property. Like, Supernatural could kind of, keep running, and it's got its like fan base, but like the Flash is gonna be like, they're gonna have haters, like they're gonna have people that expressly are gonna, consume this. So it's like, like I said, like, it's incredible to think that they got 9 seasons
and it's
out
so
of that.
Anti, the tone of the DC films on the whole. It's not the Zack Snyder dark, gritty universe at all. It's this colorful, cheesy, comic booky kind of TV show.
And on purpose. Overtly on purpose.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about Grant Gustin, but just an incredible cast kind of all around, especially, the early season cast.
Yeah.
You had Jesse Allen Martin as Joe West, Candace Patton as Iris, who's I know people have her issues, but she's really great. You have Daniel Panabaker as Caitlin Snow, aka Killer Frost. Carlos Valdez, I think. Oh my
gosh. Like, was a fan favorite for so long on that show too.
And then, of course, Tom Cavanaugh as iterations of Harrison Wells.
You thought Kang had some versions of himself? Harrison Wells was Tom Cavanaugh's the blueprint.
But, as much as he was lauded for his performance as the various iterations of Harrison Wells, his first season performance as the Reverse Flash is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
And so much so that they keep bringing him back up and through this season also.
Yeah, and it's like you thought 5 was the last one, and then they just kept, for lack of a better term, they kept going to the well.
Yeah. And then, it paved the way for a lot of other characters too, most of which ended up on Legends of Tomorrow.
Right.
Not taking away from, another person, Wentworth Miller, as Captain Cold.
Yeah.
Incredible. They got, they had some talent on that show that came in and did some things.
No, they did.
Victor Garber was on The Flash.
Draco Malfoy was on The Flash.
He was for a whole season.
Yeah, for a whole season.
But that is going to segue into our topic. We thought it timely to talk about this because of The Flash ending, effectively ending what they tried to rebrand as the CW verse, but more affectionately and most notably, this is known as the Arrowverse. And so we're going to talk about Arrow this week.
This has been a long time coming. I mean, what a leap of faith they took with not Superman, not Batman, not Wonder Woman, not The Flash to start, not Green Lantern. They took a huge leap of faith with having the Green Arrow and kind of a rebrand of the Green Arrow, because if you think about comic-wise, he's kind of like this goofy, comedic kind of, he's not like a Scott Lang, like bumbling idiot, but he's more of like he's kind of like a happy-go-lucky type of person.
He plays the more kind of classic, kind of the character that he's historically based on. Right. Robin Hood is essentially what the character is, right down to he's got the Pied Piper hat, he's got the twirly mustache and the goatee, and the CW, back then, I think it was still UPN at the time, decided to hell with that. We're going to redesign, revamp the Green Arrow. So this is 2012.
Yeah.
So the MCU is kind of still in its infancy at the time.
Yeah, I think the Avengers is out by the time, because the Avengers came out in the summer, and then October 12th, 2012 was the debut of Arrow, so they're its own universe, but it's just, at this point,
superhero TV in general is not really getting off the ground.
No, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is announced by this time, but it's gonna probably be far more popular than Arrow, so we thought.
Smallville is done.
Yeah,
at
Smallville's
this point,
done, yeah.
and that's really all you got.
Yeah, right.
Like, there's no Gotham at this point. There's no Netflix, Marvel TV shows. There's nothing. And, they took a swing. They casted Stephen Amell, who at the time was not known, really.
He's just a Canadian actor. He wasn't some big-time, Hollywood actor at this time.
And they said, this is our Oliver Queen. And we're going to kind of mix in a lot of kind of Batman-isms into this character.
There's no running away from that kind of thought process, that he is kind of Batman-esque, but I think what happened is the writing in the first part, or the Stephen Amell in the first part of the show kind of took it over, and then vice versa. The writing in the first part of the show was very distinctive in the way they wanted to go about it, and then Stephen Amell made it himself, because it's just so crazy to think, like, what type of actor he was before, because he wasn't some great actor when the show started. He was
he was pretty one. Yeah, he was one note.
Yeah, he was kind of stale. Like, he was just, the guy that can take his shirt off, do the salmon ladder, have the gravelly voice, and
he was classic kind of, going back to like what Supernatural was. He was very much cut from the Dean Winchester cloth. You look at Jensen Ackles and you look at Stephen Amell, and they don't look identical, but they fit the mold for the what was the CW at the time. We got our square-jawed, handsome white guy, put him in a starring role and let it fly.
It go, yeah. But then he takes it, and then once you get into and we're going to talk about it, the scene. There's no way. I think we predicated our friendship off of this scene. So, it's just really awesome to see how far he came as an actor, and just how far this show came. And
because, talking about season 1, it's very kind of, it's great. The first season is really great, but it's also kind of by the books. Yeah. Like, as you would, what you're doing with a TV show.
Yeah, and some people don't like that, but I think you need it, because, again, there is no superhero TV, so it's so, if you think about it, I don't think people understand how integral Arrow was to the overall mold of superhero television, because there was no blueprint to follow. Smallville wasn't Superman's prime. This is Oliver Queen's prime. Like, this is a superhero in the origin up until the ending of their time being that hero. So there's no Daredevil, there's none of these Disney Plus shows. It's just him.
Yeah, there's no long form superhero television, and in hindsight, them deciding to do the Green Arrow was really a stroke of genius, because we saw this with Iron Man, where in 2008, nobody cared about Iron Man, so they could do whatever they want with the character, and that paved the way for them to imprint the Robert Downey Jr. persona onto Tony Stark, which we talked about in this podcast. The Iron Man in the comics versus how he's presented in the MCU, not incredibly different.
Yeah.
But now, when you look at various Marvel media where Iron Man pops up, he's very much in the Robert Downey Jr. vein. And the same can be said for Green Arrow now. The Green Arrow in the comics and extended media is still very much, is now more reminiscent of the Stephen Amell version.
To the point where the New 52 run, like, was pulling from, like, the island stuff. Like, it was pulling all those things together to make him. So it is just wild how, like, they kind of flipped the script and kind of turned Stephen Amell into, like, the main universe, like, blueprint hero to go off of.
And gave us this show, which we're going to talk about because we're going to talk about this first season, gave us two characters that were totally new and invented for this show that have now made their way into the comics in John Diggle and Felicity Smoke. Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Yeah.
But again, like that first season, they needed to build a certain mold. So like you have your main character, and then you need to get your best friend-esque character, which Tommy Merlin was kind of that, but they needed someone that worked with him as the Green Arrow. So enter John Diggle, and a great addition to the show. David Ramsey is phenomenal in every season, but particularly the first few seasons where he's kind of like this outsider who like gets dragged into into the mission.
He's like War Machine to Tony's to Steven's Iron Man. Like it's like he's very by the books military guy that steps in, that adopts like his playboy, or his vigilantism, like that crusading ideals. Like he adopts that because he's like a militaristic person that's like very straight and narrow.
But also, in a few episodes into it, he's like, if I'm doing this, I'm not helping you murder a bunch of people. Like, you have to actually help the city.
Right, and that comes to a head in episode 5 specifically, but I just love the way the first 9 episodes are crafted, because it is villains of the week, but it's so cliche, but it is lessons of the week, but they mean something. It's not like lessons of the week to preach. It's lessons of the week for Oliver's own journey, because it is very much in the first part, like it's not that he's unhinged, but he's so warpath driven where he's just, I have one mission and this is the only thing I care about. And Diggle's the one that infuses the hero onto him, which he essentially infuses into Barry Allen. Like, so the string keeps going and going to be the one to, by the time, spoilers for the ending, when we get to the end, he's the one that Tony Stark sacrifices himself at the end. Because he is the hero at that point.
Yeah, exactly. And I forgot what I was going to say. Let's talk about his mindset, because a big part of this show, which was kind of groundbreaking at the time and kind of still is the implementation of the flashbacks. So we literally get to live with Oliver on the island.
Yeah.
What he was, because that's the whole premise of not just the show, but of the Green Arrow character, is he gets shipwrecked on an island and he spends 5 years on this deserted island surviving and crafting his body and his mind into a living weapon, essentially. And the pilot picks up him returning home to Star City, then Starling City at the time, to go on this mission to do the Robin Hood thing, bring down the corporate elites in Starling City and avenge his father. Basically, his father left him this list of names, and he says, I'm going to check off these list of names by murdering every single one of these people.
And the show, another thing that it does really well, it understands things that have come before, like understands not only just like the actual acts of what happened, but like the emotional tolls it takes. Like, and it sometimes doesn't even pay off till seasons later, but it for the most part always understands the way to do it the correct way, whether this be characters coming back, whether this be plot threads coming back, but a lot of the time it's emotional beats that come back. I think that very true with Manu Bennett's Deathstroke is probably a prime example of this. Probably outside of the Reverse Flash, the best villain inside of the DC, the Arrowverse.
One of the best like laid seeds for like any TV show.
Yeah.
Was they introduced the character of Slade Wilson very early.
Yeah.
In the show, and you're like, ooh, like when is it gonna happen?
And they hold it.
Yeah.
They hold this for like almost a season and a half.
To the point you're like, is this gonna happen? Like, are they gonna make him like a proper villain? And then he makes that turn.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So yeah, he's kind of Slade is kind of the emotional grounding of the flashbacks, at least in early seasons.
Yeah, that's truly his arch nemesis. Although Prometheus makes a pretty great case to be, his main villain, but
Prometheus works as like a dark reflection of Oliver.
Right. And then Merlin's like kind of like your mentorish, like kind of not even mentorish, but more of like the person that's always going to stick around, that just can blur the line to go back to being like, I may be a villain, but I might not be the worst person in the world.
And John Barrowman is sensational in every season that he appears in, but particularly this first season as this.
I love that scene where he's with Tommy at the end of the season, where he kind of reveals to Tommy, like, all the things that have happened, and he that snap back right at Tommy. So no, John Barrowman was just incredible.
The first season is very, like you said, it's very by the books, but the plot is laid out pretty in a compelling way. So, like, you got your villain of the week, but also you have this backdrop plot. And
the way they kind of go about it is the 23-episode structure, and then Flash Season 1 also did this really well. I think if it weren't for the Arrow Season 1 way of doing it, the Flash Season 1 wouldn't have had the same hit that it did for because usually they split it, it's the first 9, then it's the winter break, and then they come back for 10 through 23. But
and then it just got ridiculous.
Yeah. And then
they were taking breaks every other week.
Right, yeah.
And you couldn't keep up.
Yeah, if I'm to say something about that, the only thing I'll say, 23 episodes is a lot. And I don't think a lot of people know that TV shows are filmed while like the show is actually coming out. It's not like they film the whole thing then they release it. Obviously the smaller episode series, like a lot of your Disney Plus shows, like they probably filmed the whole thing and it was done already. But these, like, it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, like out from where they were going, they were filming these things. So it is like they do need to pump this stuff out, and ideas could change, sets couldn't work. There's a lot of factors that go into it as well.
Yeah, and I love that freaking you talk about the hang up on that 9th episode in the first season where the Dark Archer is formally introduced, and you're like, ooh, and he pummels Oliver.
Yeah. This is something, I mean, they get it from Arrow, like beating your hero so, I mean, to a pulp. I mean, one of my favorite ones is from Supergirl Season 3, that mid-season finale where Rain just absolutely demolishes her, and then obviously Zoom with the Flash, but...
Yeah, but, it's especially poignant in this first season of Arrow, because up until that point, Oliver's kind of in control of every situation he's in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The only time he gets thrown off is when there's a girl involved.
Whether it be his mother, his sister, the love interest of the week.
The love interest of the week. The staple of season 1 of Arrow.
So let's get into that, because you did make the point about, him being kind of the supernatural cloth cut. So again, it's the classic TV show, kind of teen, like young adult kind of demographic. They gotta find our main man a love interest, and they give us one right off the bat. So they give us Katie Cassidy as Laurel Lance, who is historically the Green Arrow's love interest, Black Canary, and they start them off on a really bad bad terms, because spoiler alert, Oliver cheated on Laurel with Laurel's sister Sarah, and then Sarah was drowned at sea, and then which we'll pick that up. Hold that. Yeah, hold that.
And then, so they start on really bad terms, and she's kind of got a thing with Tommy Merlin, but there's always this thing that ultimately culminates at the end of season 1, where they fully kind of reconcile and they fall back in love. But up until that point, there are, we
got the cop.
Lady.
We have Huntress.
Yeah.
That was a pretty big, what was that, like a 2-episode arc for Huntress?
Yeah, a little mini arc.
Yeah. So she was there.
There was always this like kind of underlying tension with Felicity,
right?
Which is more fully explored later on. Sarah Lance, spoiler alert, returns at some point as a different person, as a different actress. Katie Lotz, who I
absolutely love Katie Lotz as the character, but the actress that they had as the first as the first Sarah Lance, looked like that. Felt like Laurel's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't know what happened to her. I hope she's doing good.
R.I.P. first. What was she in? Like the first 2 episodes?
Something like that. And then they had the picture of her for when Laurel's mom thought that she was alive, which she was right. She was right.
Yeah. Vindicated.
Laurel's mom, not crazy.
So yeah, they kept trying out these different women, and the whole time I'm watching season 1, I'm just do Laurel. Just
have
keep
her
it.
be the love interest. Yeah.
But they don't. Which is one of my big gripes about this show is they struck while the iron was hot on the Oliver and Felicity thing, and then they just force fed it to us.
And then Felicity said, "I'm gonna steal your man."
So what else do you want to talk about with this first season?
I mean, we talked. Tommy has one of oh man, Tommy's death is one of the ones that hits incredibly hard, and again, it's forging your hero's journey and kind of what formulates like Oliver going forward, and like how he switches from season to season, like things he doesn't do, things he does. Like that reconciliation he has with Tommy is like one of the most heartfelt moments in the entire Arrowverse. Like, because Tommy's just this playboy up until he finds out that Oliver's the Green Arrow and who his father really is. Like that switch that he makes, and he's just like that was his brother the whole time, and it's just.
And you think like sometimes like Tommy's like this scummy kind of. But he's not.
No, he's not. And like
he turns out to be really genuine.
Yeah, he is. Like he's like a good person. Like from his core, he's a good person. So man, that death scene hit hard.
Yeah,
we would be incredibly remiss if we didn't talk about the GOAT, Captain Lance,
Paul Blackthorne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, hates Oliver.
Yeah,
with a burning passion because he blames him for the death of
his
Sarah.
daughter. Yeah, and. Yeah, and he thinks like, you screwed Laurel up and now you're back and stay away from my daughter. Mm-hmm. And they have some really great moments.
Yeah, I like
the interrogation room.
Oh, interrogation room is good. What was another piece? Oh, it was did you even try to save her line? Oh, they're back and forth, and their rapport is really good in season 1.
Have you killed anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
When I took your daughter on that boat.
Bold, man. You got any individual episodes? Because I got a couple from season 1. I mean, episode 5 is the Sins of the Father episode is probably one of my favorite amongst that first couple where it was like the formative episodes of the season. That one probably hit the plot thread of this season probably the hardest in terms of him turning into not just this Robin Hood steal from the rich, but an actual vigilante / hero. That was the episode that really started him on that journey.
Yeah, I really like Year's End, which we talked about, mm-hmm. where the Dark Archers introduced.
Right, the mid-season finale. Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, the penultimate episode in the season finale. This probably has one of the. I will give Arrow one thing they do really well. Whether the finales land, and to be honest, the Arrow finales for the most part land because 1, 2. I think 3 does too. 1, 2, 3, 5. 7 and 8, I think all land. I think it's 6.
8's especially poignant because it's the series finale, and a lot of shows don't hit that.
And not only is it the series finale, it has the entirety of the Arrowverse on its back because of Crisis 2. And what an incredible decision for them not to just do a farewell season, but to add the fact that they know he's such an integral. He is like the building block foundation of the Arrowverse that they set the backdrop of Crisis on top of that as well.
Yeah.
But Year's End is great. Like I said, the Sins of Honor Thy Father is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season. I think they do call it. It might be where him and Slade try to escape the island in season 1. Mm-hmm. That's a really good Yao Fei. We can't leave season 1 without talking about Yao Fei, his trainer, his mentor, his mentor, his first mentor on the island.
His first mentor.
He's got a lot of mentors.
Got a lot of girlfriends, got a lot of mentors.
Yeah. Got a lot of arrows.
Keeps
of arrows. He's got all the arrows. He hasn't missed an arrow.
Just quick note, good stunt work by Stephen Amell.
Yeah. I know he did a lot of it too. And it's impressive. Like the hand-to-hand in here is pretty well done. I think at the end of season 8, they just had like that little sequence of season 1 Oliver fighting, and I think a good point, it's just a good homage to like the stunt coordinators and the fight choreographers of the show. Like I think they did a pretty solid job for like television. And another thing I don't think people understand, like now that we live in this world where like these Disney Plus shows are extensions of these movies, like these are like not these overly funded shows. Like, there's not like there's not millions upon millions of dollars being, thrown at these shows. So like, what they were able to do with some of that is it's just pretty impressive.
We get a little bit of Roy Harper.
Yeah,
in season 1.
Yeah, we start with Roy Harper a little bit. Oliver's family sucks.
You want to talk about his mom?
We can talk about his mom, his dad, his sister.
We don't get a lot about his dad up until kind of later on.
Right.
Of what his dad was like really, really about.
His dad's a horrible person.
Yeah, and that's accentuated in season 6
or 7.
7?
Yeah. Oh, no, 6. You're right. It's 6. Wait.
No,
it is 7.
It's 7. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Kimiko.
So that's really, really heightened by season 7. But the first season, you think like his dad is like a guy that has done some bad things, but was trying to atone.
No,
but not really.
Not really. He wanted his son to take care of his like, again, that I don't know what it is about that episode 5. It just works because of this. Like the whole ideal of like what your father has like what he's done and him wanting you like, why is this my job to clean your mess? But Oliver was so,
enamored with his dad.
Yeah, and he was so propelled after like his dad sacrificed himself so that, and at that point in Oliver's life, he probably felt borderline meaningless. Like he was just some rich kid from a rich part of town that just had no troubles in life, and like finally he found some purpose. And
another poignant moment before we move on is the end of the season. He loses.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. This season, like if we talk about like ranking,
and there's a couple series finales or season finales of the show where he loses. Mm-hmm. And I think that's pretty great. Yeah, and what I appreciated about that in the later seasons is that it is this backdrop in the whole Arrowverse is there's superheroes around, so like he is still human. Like there is things like he just can't help. There's no Cisco in your ear to like science your way out of. There's just not like a lot of these are not Felicity yet. Becomes that later on, right? But like in the early like later like. For him, all these losses that he takes, like season 5's another huge loss. It's literally just him against, his most personal like villain, just not being able to save the day. Yeah, there's just a no-win scenario. Yeah, and he loses at the end of season 1. I mean, he defeats Merlin, but his city's partially destroyed, and his best friend dies. Right. What a great way to start like season 2 as well, and then going into your villain that's gonna physically and mentally beat him the most on top of that. So your city's lost, and on top of this, you have to go back. But season 2 does a great job. I think a theme in season 2 is like rebuilding and rebranding too. I think the rebrand kind of comes from, him understanding I can't kill anymore. Yeah. And he's got a lot of moral conflict with that too, because I mean, it's the Punisher rooftop with Daredevil. It's just like, if you kill these people, they're put down together, but you can never come back from that. Like, well, yeah, and that's because of Tommy. Right. Oliver kind of takes away from Tommy's death that Tommy died thinking that I'm a murderer, essentially, which, we come to find out isn't true. Right. But, speaking of season 2, Sarah Lance returns. She's back from the dead. So, I mean, talking Green Arrow comics, I mean, another prominent character that comes out of that is you get Black Canary. So we get our first introduction to Black Canary. Black Canary 1. Black Canary 1 of like 4? 4. Laurel, Sarah, Laurel from Earth 2, Dinah. Yeah. Man, they do some weird freaking things with that character. Yeah. But and again, I gotta go with just make it Laurel. But to be fair, Sarah is only known as the Canary. Right. She's not the Black Canary. She's just the Canary. Right. And then we get a bigger idea introduced, and I think it's later in the season, but it's the League. He's not going to beat the Batman allegations because it's the League of Assassins just comes to fruition and prominence at the end of the season. And also by this point, Sarah is Katie Lotz now. Right. Right. Like, wait a second. Right. Good addition in terms of like an actress, because she is great. There's just like this energy that she kind of brings. She's very Black Cat. Yeah. Like Catwoman, Black Cat, like, and there's a will they, won't they with the two of them for much of the second season. And, that she's basically the female version of Oliver. She's where you thought the Huntress was. Sarah is that and then some, because you find out that Sarah made it to the island, and again, so the conceit with the flashbacks, which again was super interesting, was that every season was going to be a year in his past. I shouldn't even say a year on the island, because spoiler alert, by the end of the second season, you find out that he wasn't on the island the whole time. In fact, he wasn't on the island most of the time.
He was even in Starling City for for a small chunk.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where the League of Assassins is introduced, where Sarah was rescued by the League of Assassins by Ra's al Ghul, who we'll see in season 3. And she's really compelling as like this kind of not dark reflection of Laurel, but she just wants to be alone. Like she wants to she's doing the season 1 Oliver shtick, basically. And Oliver's like, what if you didn't though?
Yeah.
So they do some cool team ups in season 2. What else happens in season 2?
So season 2, we start the plot thread with Brother Blood. So we kind of get the backdrop. So Arrow in the beginning had a lot of corporate backdrop because obviously it's Oliver Queen of Queen Consolidated. So essentially what was going on is hostile takeover time. This mysterious woman comes out of the woodwork and is just like,
who he also has a fling with.
Yeah, this man don't miss. He don't miss. So yeah, she's like, I'm here to take your company. At first, it's like, you need to get your stuff together, Queen, or else. And he's just like, I'm the protagonist. I'm going to keep this company.
Even though he doesn't want it.
Yeah, he doesn't want it, but he still kind of needs it. And then, I mean, the other big thing is that Moira's running for mayor this season.
His terrible mother.
Oh my god, she sucks. But does she?
It won't matter by the end of this season.
Yeah. That scene broke me when I watched that for the first time. I mean, famously for me, between like us two, You're the Arrow guy.
Yes.
I feel like I'm more of... Oh, not anymore. I was the Flash, like, week to week. That was my thing. But I didn't watch Arrow to start with. I was interested, but I don't know why. I don't think I watched, like, the first couple episodes, so I was like, I can't start now. And I was a child, so I couldn't go out of my way to try to find it. So, I didn't watch Arrow to start. I started Arrow when The Flash was coming out, because the seasons were on Netflix, which was great. But yeah, just so that people know where the loves from these shows come from. But man, when you do a binge and then you get to the end of season 2, boy, oh boy, does this hurt?
Yeah, season 2 is really incredible. It's it also, what season 2 does is, we'll talk about this because this is why we're talking about this, is it introduces the Flash, or it introduces Barry Allen, and it starts doing some things with the greater DC universe.
Yep. You could start to feel expansion, but they were so strategic and smart about the way they went about it. It wasn't just some 5 characters are going to show up and be like, Oliver Queen, you've been recruited for the Justice League. No, it was just this kid from Central City that was just like, hey, my mom was murdered, so I came out here to just see, because you had some weird things, because the whole Mirakuru stuff, it's like, these characters had super strength, so he's just like, my mom was murdered by something I couldn't explain, and you said you couldn't explain this, so I just want to see if there's a connection. I'm going to go back to Central City now. Seeing a little bit Oliver Queen. And the rat poison gag is great.
That's where you meet Grant Gustin's Barry Allen for the first time, and he is amazing.
He's so youthful. Like, it's just, he's such a light reflection of Oliver.
He's a perfect foil for Oliver. He's this just happy-go-lucky kid. Yeah,
but I think the word for him is hope. Like, he has hope about what he can do versus Oliver's just, he's a realist, and he's like, this is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like, the tough decisions need to be made.
Yeah. You're not going to put an arrow in him in, are you? I'm considering
it. Man.
Because he's real hung up on a secret identity. And is he?
Hey, he tells a lot of people. One of my favorite videos that I've ever seen is the compilation. How many did it get up to? Well, it's funny because, like, I love when it gets to the end of season 6 where, like, he does the Iron Man thing and he reveals himself to the world, and the counter goes to, like, 7 billion, and then it just goes up to, like, 7 billion, and then the number that was out before. It's great.
We get Barry Allen in this. We get a look at Cyrus Gold, aka it's quasi Solomon Grundy. They play around with that. We get Amanda Waller in this in season 2, and she's forming the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad is in this.
Task Force X.
Yeah,
with Deadshot, who we didn't. He's the first like villain. Like he's the first week, Well, he's the first like DC Comics character that they bring into the show, and it's like what, episode 2?
It's second episode. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it is
Deadshot's
cool.
in this
and like
show.
another good start for the villain of the week, because it's like, it's Oliver Queen, the archer that doesn't miss, versus the guy with the gun that doesn't miss. Like, it's pretty cool the way they went about it. But
yeah,
man, season 2, I can't get over how great season 2 is.
We get Nissa Al Ghul in season 2, which kind of starts bleeding into season 3 when, again, he's not going to escape the Batman allegations with the plot threads of season 2 and 3, especially 3.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, so the Mirakuru stuff's the biggest thing. So we go back to the island. Season 1 happens. They don't get off the island. They're still there. What happens? They find Ivo, so another DC Comics character. They find, I think he's not like, he's just Dr. Ivo at this point.
I said you're Dr. Anthony Ivo from DC Comics.
Yeah. That's who they should have introduced. You're Slade Wilson from DC Comics.
And I do like the little bait and switch that they do with Slade the first couple seasons, where his partner is the guy that wears the Deathstroke outfit.
Right.
And you're like, wait a second.
Billy Wintergreen.
Yeah, Bill Wintergreen, which is his butler in the comics.
I can't even remember. But I just know it's Bill Wintergreen from DC Comics.
But yeah, so the Mirakuru is the plot device that paves the way for Slade to have his superhuman reflexes and stuff, and he comes about that because he almost dies. And then he gets Mirakuru madness.
And then he comes back to the States. Oh, that scene where he's sitting on his couch and Oliver knows and he knows. He's just like...
the reason he hates Oliver is because he feels Oliver was responsible for the death of... How many love interests is this? So Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow.
Is Yao Fei's daughter, who was on the island with Yao Fei.
Yeah, but they got separated.
Yeah, and then Oliver and Slade and Sarah...
Didn't Shadow have a sister?
Yes.
A twin sister?
That's season 3, yes.
Oh, Lord. She didn't have a fling with Oliver, right?
The sister? No.
I hope not.
No, she didn't.
Oliver, you sneaky scoundrel.
Yeah, so, yeah, that you know, what makes Slade go over the edge is Ivo and his men this is in the flashbacks, Ivo and his men get Oliver dead to rights. He has Sarah, he has Shadow, and he's like, you pick one. Oliver picks Sarah, because of course he did, and Slade forever holds Oliver responsible for that. And then but they reluctantly are working together. Like, they reluctantly work together. They're like, I hate you, I hold you responsible, but we have to get off this island. And then Slade is mortally wounded in an attempt to secure a submarine, and the only way to save him is this miracle drug.
Yeah, this ancient Japanese, like, just science experiment
that Ivo was looking for, and he's like, we can save Slade with this, and they give it to him, and it turns him into a crazy man.
It basically John Walkered him.
Yeah. It's super soldier serum.
Right. Which, I mean, in comics, Slade was like, that was the thing. Like, Slade was the suit. Like, he was one of the, like, Captain America was the first super soldier. Like, for DC, Slade Wilson also was like a super soldier.
And he carries that hatred with him to modern day.
To the point where he sees visions of Shadow. And then, because this is a season 2, and you need more than one Archer, Roy Harper's back. Roy Harper, who did drugs in the comics.
And does a drug in this.
Well,
he gets Mirakuru.
Right. So that's like... It's funny, because I was watching Iron Man 3 today, and like they sublet the alcoholism, because it's a Disney product, with him having PTSD from the wormhole in the Avengers, so...
Yeah. So Roy's not full...
Do the drug thing.
He's not full Arsenal yet. He's just super strong guy with a red hoodie.
Right. Right. Roy, I need you to stop.
Yep, he's out in there. We do get a proper...
I'm going to pull up the count while you keep talking. I got to find this. We
do get a proper Suicide Squad episode in this season.
Pretty good episode. I really like that episode.
Michael, what's the guy's name who plays White Tiger? Bronze Tiger?
Yeah.
Michael J. White.
Yeah.
Michael J. White is in this show.
Yeah, he is.
And him and Oliver have a banger of a scene in season 6.
Or season 7. I think it's the end of...
Isn't it season... Oh, no, it is season 7. Yeah, because he's in prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just a banger of a scene.
And you just don't think it's coming.
They do the Daredevil one-shot thing, but in a prison.
In levels? Like, it was awesome. It was like...
Michael J. White, cook.
Yeah, they were going off. That was awesome.
But yeah, he's in this Task Force X along with Diggle, who plays like the Rick Flag character.
Yeah.
You get Cupid, who's like the wacky archer character.
I think that episode always came out around Valentine's Day. So yeah, she's just in love with Oliver.
I'm Cupid, stupid.
We never said these shows weren't cheesy.
CW shows, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't take them so seriously.
Deadshot obviously is on the squad, and
Which
then
is...
in a deleted scene, Tara Strong voices Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And then, I mean, a big piece of just to talk about Diggle for a second and where he goes, I mean, the big piece of this is like the will they won't they with his ex-wife Lila, who's working for Amanda Waller at Argus. And then another big piece is that Deadshot killed his brother. Or did he? Or so he thought. Because this is a CW show.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Task Force X stuff. Unfortunately, the those bastards at Warner Brothers were like, we're gonna make a Suicide Squad movie, so if you could kindly not use our team
to the
name.
point where they killed Amanda Waller.
Yeah. And I like that actress as Amanda Waller. She was the right amount of ice cold lady.
Oh, she just didn't give a crap about anybody. It was great.
Yeah, she was great. She comes back in season 3 in flashbacks.
Because why not?
What else about season 2?
So the Felicity and Oliver love plot thickens
a bit,
just a tad. It's all a ploy by Oliver to kind of lure Slade, because Slade's like, I'm gonna take the woman you love. And he's just like, bait and switch. It's not Laurel.
You would have thought.
Stupid.
You would have thought if you clearly read too many Green Arrow comics, Slade.
Yeah, you idiot. You should have waited until this season came out and they made the new Green Arrow comics.
He's like, wait, you're Laurel Lance from DC Comics. You're supposed to be in love
formerly
with...
known as Dinah Lance from DC Comics.
Wait, we're getting there. Because they do some wacky things with Black Canary in this. Yeah, still don't love that.
No. And then we'll get into it, because we gotta wait to the second best season of this show, season 5. A silent banger of a season that was.
Because season 4 was so awful.
Yeah, but season 3, is the predecessor to that. The reveal. What's the reveal you get at the end of season 2? It's just the League.
The League is coming.
Right, League of Shadows. It's on.
We're doing Batman. We're doing Batman Begins.
Because he's Batman.
And season 2 again, another solid season finale where they do the Oliver vs. Slade in modern day and Oliver vs. Slade in the flashbacks interspersed, which I thought was really interesting. And they come to blows, and Oliver has an opportunity to kill Slade and doesn't take it.
Yeah,
doesn't take it.
Maybe he should. No, I'm glad he didn't.
And again, he's at the end of the season sort of loses again.
He can't win.
Yeah,
he's like Chris Paul. He just can't win.
But season 2 is
just a random stray at Chris Paul. Sorry, Chris Paul.
Season 2 is really, really, really great.
Yeah, I think it's the best season of the whole Arrowverse. It's just. It's got pacing, it's got tension, it's got a great arcs for pretty much every character. Maybe outside of Thea. Yeah, she does. Well, I don't even think we talked about Thea this whole time, which we don't need to until now. Well, I mean, for Thea, the big reveal is that
she's Merlin's daughter.
His parents suck. They're the worst. They're horrible.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Robert Queen you are not the father.
You are not the father
of Thea Queen.
No.
And this is where Merlin starts his kind of anti-hero journey, because one thing matters to him. I
wouldn't say he's more like what I think they're going to do with Omni-Man and Invincible, where he's still a bad person.
One thing matters to him and one thing only, and that's Thea.
Ah, like Homelander.
All of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden, yeah.
All of a sudden, he cares about Thea. He saves her and takes her to Corto Maltese. Man, you're Corto Maltese from DC Comics.
You're Argus from DC Comics. We missed that one.
Yeah, Argus is in this.
Yeah,
headed by Diggle's ex-wife, soon to be wife again. Lila Michaels is in this, who gets a way bigger role in later seasons, especially in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh, you're Harbinger from DC Comics.
We get the proper season going from season 2 to 3. Roy is officially becoming the sidekick. He's becoming Arsenal.
He's been cured of his Mirakuru.
Yep,
but he hasn't been cured of his ache for Thea.
They have a nice. I like their romance maybe the most.
Yeah, because it's probably the most believable.
Yeah,
it's the most like will they won't they, but it's like they're together. But
so he's got like a proper crew now.
Right. So like now we're getting into Team Arrow.
Yeah. We're getting into, like, more super heroics. Because you have him, you have Roy, who has his own suit. Sarah's with them at this point. Dig is, like, just guy in a leather jacket with a gun. Good.
Spartan's here.
Yep. And then season 1 makes this really wild decision to shoot Sarah off a roof.
So, yeah. Season 3, the end of the last episode, you're like, oh, cool. You're Green Arrow from DC Comics, so it's like, got Green Arrow, we got
Black Canary,
we got
Canary,
yeah, we got Arsenal. Like, all right, now this show's getting comic booky. Oops. See you later, Sarah. Gets yeeted, just gets arrowed right off a building.
Yep,
she's dead.
Falls off a roof, right in front of Laurel.
Yeah, Laurel screams, but on the inside, she's like, finally, I can be the Black Canary.
And then the flashback storyline of season 3 is Oliver's in China.
Yeah, because why not? Because Katana.
Yes, you're Katana from DC Comics.
You must be that Katana from DC Comics.
And more importantly, Masao Yamashiro, who is maybe my favorite character in season 3.
Oh man, why did they kill his son like that?
Oh man,
Masao. Oh, I would have taken that toxin for Masao. We must protect Masao at all costs, and they didn't.
And then for some reason, Laurel takes Sarah's body to Team Arrow. She's like, help. And they're like, she's dead. And then...
the other thing was that Laurel found out that Oliver was the Green Arrow. That's the one thing that
in season 2,
that we didn't talk about.
Slade was like, did you know that Oliver Queen's the Arrow?
Yeah.
And Laurel's like, kinda.
Yeah. I may be an idiot, but I'm not stupid.
I love that. That's... Oh, man. See, this is why they should have done the Laurel and Oliver thing, because that scene between them, where he's like, I can't fight Slade, I can't beat him, and Laurel's like, yes you can, because I've known you. I know, what'd she say to him? I know you, like, I know my own name, is what she says to him, and like, this is what you do, like, you're a hero. God, CW, why did you do this?
Yeah.
What else we get in season 3? We get Ray Palmer.
Yeah, so we get you're Ray Palmer from DC Comics.
You're Brandon Routh from Superman Returns.
And boy, does his Superman return in this universe.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He's great.
Oh, he is really good. He's just, again, like, counters to Oliver. Like, he's the threat for, like, the possibility of him and Felicity getting together. Like, I love how they just... Because obviously, at this point, you kind of know that Felicity and Oliver are going to end up together, but Ray's just this... He's such this... I can finally bring hope for this city. I can avenge the death of my late wife. But we're
going to rename it the proper name?
Yeah, Star City. You're Star City from DC Comics. This game is fun. I like this one. This is a good bit we got.
But he's great. Brandon Routh is really phenomenal
in
the role.
And there's a reason why Legends of Tomorrow took him onto there. So
originally it was going to be he was going to get his own show.
Right. You know the other show that I thought that was rumored for the longest time, because they literally say it in the first episode of all these shows, is you think you're gonna get this Blue Beetle Booster Gold show.
Yeah.
Because Ted Core's name comes up every single goddamn time, and you just never get it.
He never shows up.
He never shows up. That's the greatest red herring in the entire Arrowverse, is Ted Core just not being around. What if Ted Core's not even a real person? They just like the name Ted Core Industries.
Oh, man. So, the League of Assassins is in this season. We finally got there. We're doing Batman Begins. Ra's al Ghul is in this season full. I like the guy who plays Ra's. Apparently, Liam Neeson was in talks to be Ra's al Ghul in this show.
Imagine. I'm kind of glad they didn't, but at the same time, because continuity, but at the same... Ooh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, so apparently that was on the table at one point. Laurel's training with Ted Grant. You're Ted Grant from DC Comics.
You're Ted Grant from DC Comics.
Who, at this point, Ted Grant is past his prime. He's retired as Wildcat. And Oliver's like, Laurel, you're going to take lessons from some vigilante?
Yeah, how could you? You're putting yourself in danger. And she just looks at the camera, and then she just looks back at Oliver. So basically, for Ray Palmer, just to
Also, she goes through her Tony Stark alcoholism arc in this season.
Yeah, see, don't be afraid of the alcoholism. Get the arc down.
And again, season 3, these two, Stephen Amell and Katie Cassidy, have an unbelievable scene together in the hallway when he's like, "You're drunk, Laurel." I'm not doing the scene justice, but that's basically what happens.
Right.
He's like, you're calling me out? Nah, man. You're spiraling. What else happens in the season?
Well, Ray Palmer's building a suit. So he basically, the whole corporate-esque part, last season, Queen consolidated, it's in the dumps. Crap, what are we going to do with this company? Ray Palmer shows up, it's like, I'll buy this thing. I'll do it. Because I'm trying to do something and I need your R&D department.
I am Iron Man.
I am the Atom.
You're the Atom from DC
You're
Comics.
the Atom from DC Comics. Doesn't shrink, it's the suit. Boo. Boo, make him shrink. Same thing with Scott Lang, make him shrink.
They tease it.
They do tease it.
He's like, I've been messing around with some stuff.
Yeah, nanotech.
What you been messing around with, Ray Palmer?
Yeah.
I can shrink, maybe?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but hold on. We're not in Legends of Tomorrow yet. He's set to the camera.
So what else happens in this?
Oliver and Nyssa get married.
Doesn't technically count as a love
interest. You find out
interest.
also last season that Nyssa and Sarah were in love too, so that it's just funny. Like, this is more. It was such more of a serious plot thread that turned into comedy because like they never got divorced, so it turned into like a sitcom level of like not signing the divorce papers. So like that fling from before
because Nyssa shows up upon finding out that Sarah's dead, and she's like, "Find the killer! Find the killer! Find the killer! Who's the killer? Who is it?" Spoiler alert: it's Thea.
Yeah.
Who's been doing some wicked training with Merlin, and she's not, and he was drugging her?
Right, yeah, he was brainwashing her so basically Merlin had something over Oliver. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, and
he wanted leverage.
Because Merlin was targeting, what was he targeting? The League?
Yeah, and then, well, the thing was, he knew that if the video ever came out, he pulled the Starlight from the boys. He knew if the video ever came out that the League would hunt Thea because Sarah was still was a part of the League before. Yeah,
so Nyssa's like, turn over the killer within 48 hours or else.
Right.
And Oliver's like, I'll take or else.
Yeah.
So Oliver's like, all right, one way out of this. I gotta fight the man in charge.
Yeah, I gotta kill this guy.
And they're like, good luck.
Good luck, man. You think you could fight? You're fighting some corporate guys in buildings. Like, this guy, he's seen some stuff.
Yeah.
And boy
has he. So we get to another phenomenal episode 9, where he climbs up the mountain and he finds Ra's al Ghul and he's like, trial by combat.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones style.
Yep.
And he loses.
The line that he gives him, and he's just like, I'll just take your sword when you're done using it. I'm like, crap. This ought to be good.
And he kills Oliver.
Gets pottied.
Punts him down a mountain. So every season seems to have like Oliver being incapacitated, so that we can pretend to do other stuff with other characters, and that's what we're doing.
Right.
And you also find out that Merlin was also in the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
He was the magician.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want his wife to be murdered anymore.
He said, if I ever happen to get another wife,
I'll be able to protect her.
Why I oughta.
So what else happens in season 3?
Well, Oliver comes back to life, and it's more of he gets saved by Katana from DC Comics.
Who's not Katana yet.
He's not, sorry, she's not Katana
She's
yet.
just Tatsu at this point.
She's just Tatsu.
And also, spoiler alert, Maseo is in the League of Assassins.
Yeah.
And he saves Oliver's life.
Yep. What a guy.
Man, I love Maseo's character.
Yeah.
Because, man, some really awful things happens to that guy.
Yeah.
So,
they should have made him Katana.
The flashback story is there's a virus in China.
Hong Kong.
Oh boy.
Get it over with.
What is it called? The alpha. There's
the alpha omega.
Alpha omega. So it's like a two scoops virus.
What a crazy way to explain that.
You can't have one without the other.
They should have called it the 2 scoops virus.
And if they unleash, so Amanda Waller's like, Oliver, you better find who's responsible for this, or else, or else what?
Or else what?
Or else I'm gonna send you back to that island, or I'm gonna kill Maseo's family.
Yeah,
because Waller's a bad egg. And she's like, you know what, Oliver? You know what you need to do? You need to become a killer. You need to become a torturer, a killer. Do that. And he's like, I don't want to. And they're like, too bad.
Yeah.
So
We
this
need to
is...
set you up for season 1.
Yeah, so this is the part of the flashbacks where he starts forging kind of his alter ego, his alternate identity as this kind of cold-hearted killer. And spoiler alert, it doesn't work out for everybody because the virus is unleashed. Kills.
He loses again.
He loses in the flashbacks.
Yeah.
So the virus is unleashed, killing Maseo and Tatsu's young son. Brutal.
Because that was his guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so you're right. Oliver comes back and he's like, hello.
I think because I feel like people were confused. I thought it was like implied that she had waters from the Lazarus pit to heal the wound.
Sure.
Because that's why he didn't go crazy. And I think somebody even said too, it's like he was already kind of borderline crazy.
Yeah.
So it didn't affect him the same way that it affected everybody else.
We'll just go with the magic tea.
Yeah, magic tea. What was in that tea?
So he returns to Star City and he's like, man, it's really gone to crap since I've been gone.
He's in Starling City. It's not Star City yet.
He pulls the Hawkeye. I've been retired for like 5 minutes and it all goes to shit.
Yep. So... Big fight. Big fight. Roy gives himself up. That's a big thing that happens. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, so... Oh, my bad. We jumped the gun a bit. So basically, he's like, I see that you've returned, Oliver Queen. How about this? Instead of... If you can't... I killed you, man. I don't feel like doing it again. Why don't you take my spot?
Yeah, you got guts.
Yeah, you got some...
Oh, because, like, the prophecy. Like, he survived the blade of Ra's al Ghul, so he's destined...
He must become Ra's al Ghul.
And Merlin's like... Ugh.
Yeah. God.
So Oliver does it. He goes to Nanda Parbat. He trains under Raz. He marries Nissa and becomes Al Sahim, which is Arabic for the arrow. Very clever.
Yeah.
And you know the big. This is Batman Begins.
Yep.
So Ra's al Ghul's like, all right, there's one thing you need to do, Oliver Queen. You need to purge your entire past.
Why though?
And Oliver's like, all right, I can do that, I guess. And he's like, all right, you gotta destroy the city because this is how the conceit of this show. We got the virus.
Oh no, not the virus back again.
Not the 2 Scoops virus.
The 2 Scoops virus.
He's like, I got the other part. We're gonna take it to Star City. We're gonna detonate it.
Starling City.
And we're gonna just kill everybody. And Oliver's like, that doesn't sound like a good plan
but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in.
And you're like, what is happening?
I shaved my head even more than it was before. I'm in.
He's got a black costume that he uses in the Flash penultimate episode because continuity.
Yeah.
Nice
we didn't even talk about that yet, but we're going to save that for a second.
Nice haircut.
Nice haircut. Would you get another haircut?
And then, so this whole time, the rest of Team Arrow's like, Oliver's gone. He's off the reservation. He's joined the League of Assassins. And Felicity annoyingly is like, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. So
Felicity, wake up.
It's a big B character team up. So everyone, we're teaming up to go to Nanda Parbat. It's who's in this crew?
Dig. You got the Atom. Who's got his suit?
Oh, Thea's dead.
Thea's dead, yeah. Thea was killed.
By Raz.
Yeah, because why would you kill my daughter's lover?
Yeah.
You jerk.
How dare you?
How dare you?
But I also don't like my daughter that much.
Yeah, but you can't do that. The principle of this.
Merlin.
Yeah, Merlin's here.
Merlin's on the team.
Yeah.
Because Thea.
It's a big bait and switch. Like, it's like Oliver, obviously Oliver's not a bad guy, so he's just like, yeah.
My name is Oliver Queen. Good stuff.
Yeah. That's the goat right there.
We get a Flash cameo in this?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for. He just runs real fast.
So the team is dead to rights. They're in Nanda Parbat. They got captured, of course, because Oliver's like, I'm a bad guy now. You're all under arrest. You can't stop what's coming. And they're like, man, he really did betray us. And then the Flash shows up in just an absolutely awesome sequence.
No, it's great.
He's like, hey, guys.
Yeah. I'm DC Comics Barry Allen / The Flash.
And Felicity's like, Barry. And he's like, thank you, Felicity, for telling
my secret identity to a supervillain. And then she looks at Merlin, and Merlin looks in the camera, and then Merlin looks back at the Flash / Barry Allen from DC Comics. It's good stuff.
I like that whole sequence because Merlin's like, we just have to wait. And they're like, wait for what? And then there's the crack of thunder, and he's like, the lightning. And then cue the Flash.
The Flash theme played. Oh, man.
It's awesome.
It's good stuff.
The second Flash appearance in season 3.
Yeah, so let's we could talk about that because that's the big other piece. This is officially the Arrowverse now. So episode 6,
yeah,
I believe it's it's episode 6 because that's usually when the crossover is every season. So
no, it's episode 8
or episode 8, right? Oh, it's right before the penultimate, or it's right before the mid-season finale every time.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. So Oliver's doing his Oliver thing, and what happens? What's the way that this goes about?
What, in the first?
Because the Flash was on Tuesdays and Arrow was on Wednesdays, so I think...
Yeah, they did a team up on the Flash, and then they did a team up on Arrow. They fought Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, right. So, because we're only talking about Arrow, so...
You're Captain Boomerang from DC
Comics. You're Digger Harkness from DC Comics, not played by Jai Courtney. Wait, didn't that guy do something else? Wasn't that the guy that played...
I'm sure he has.
No, he was in something else.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. He's an actor.
I'm going to figure this out, because now it's bothering me.
But yeah, so that episode is the first of what would become known as like the bigger Arrowverse crossovers. So what else happens in season 3? Thea gets revived, but she's a crazy person. So that introduces this concept of bloodlust.
Right. Well, Roy's gone, so Roy, sacrificed his identity so he kind of painted himself as the Arrow, so Oliver wouldn't be caught being the Green Arrow. The scent's off the tail. Cool. Good stuff. Good job, Roy. Roy's off the show for a little bit.
Yep. Poor Colton Haynes.
Yeah, because the reports that came afterwards is kind of sad that he was getting bullied essentially on set.
Yep. So it's big fight. We get to a big fight again. Oliver against the League. Oliver and company against the League. Oliver kills Roz, and he's like, "You're gonna take my place, aren't you?"
I knew it. Digger Harkness from Arrow was Eclipso and Stargirl. I knew he was in something else.
Nice. And Oliver kills Roz, and Roz is like, "You're gonna take my place," and Oliver's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna kill you."
Yeah, and he does it this time.
Yeah. He does. He kills Roz.
Good job, Oliver.
He doesn't have a problem killing when he needs to.
And some people, mainly Adrian Chase, have issues with that.
Yeah, but first we have to get season 4 out of the way.
Why? I don't want to.
We don't have to spend long on it.
No, there's nothing to talk about. Damien Dark's in this.
We knew we were in trouble from jump.
Go ahead.
Felicity Smoke, you have failed this omelet, because season 3 ends and Oliver's like, "I love you, Felicity, and I'm retired." What?
Yeah. Dig can be the Green Arrow.
Not even. We don't even have a Green Arrow.
Oh yeah, it's just Thea and Laurel.
Dig. That's it.
Yeah, and Felicity's in the chair.
Not yet.
Is she not?
Not in the beginning of season 4.
Oh, not in the wheelchair. I just meant in the chair.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, you spoiled it. Oliver did a really crappy thing.
So there's a big tonal shift in season 4. We get more lighthearted, and we get more like CW-ified, and it does not work.
Nope. Not once. Not at all. This is just a laughably bad season.
But we get Neil McDonough.
It's like such a catch-22 for me, because I'm like, I get Neil McDonough, but I just can't stand the way they did Damien Dark. He's so overpowered until he's not, and then you're like,
season 4 introduces magic, by the way.
And it's not even like a Flash way of introducing magic, where it's this subtle thing that plays up. Just how the first 3 seasons were pretty good about subtly introducing stuff. He just has magic.
It's crazy.
Constantine's in this season.
Matt Ryan reprises his role, because that guy will take any paycheck given to him to play Constantine.
Vixen's in this.
Yep.
You're Vixen from DC Comics, also from CW Seed. That's a deep cut for my Arrowverse fans. CW Seed, where they tricked us into watching the Vixen show that didn't matter.
Yeah, and then season 4. Some decent stuff happens this season. So the big Arrowverse crossover of season 4 is the Legends of Tomorrow backdoor pilot. We get Vandal Savage.
You're Vandal Savage from DC Comics. And you're...
Then we get Hawkman.
You're Hawkman and Hawkcrow from DC Comics.
Yeah, unfortunately not much is done with either of those characters.
The genuine fear in Hawkman in this whole thing, because he pulled out the glasses from 2006. They did the Avengers Age of Ultron, because even Thea says it. Heroes on a farm. Why does this seem familiar?
Yeah.
What's the season 4 thing? So yeah,
the flashback?
No, sure, go ahead.
What is he goes back to the island.
Yeah.
Undercover.
Right.
We meet Baron Ryder, another shining star of season 4.
Yeah, maybe your favorite character from
Mr. Queen.
Oh my god, why did they do this way?
My favorite flashback antagonist.
It's such a tonal shit. It's a shift from everything that they did.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's really nuts.
Just no sleeves.
Yep, he gets the comic book kind
Right,
of.
and now he's officially the Green Arrow.
Yeah, he calls himself I am the Green Arrow. Mm-hmm. I'm not Oliver Queen, if that's what you're thinking.
You don't get cold, Oliver? Barry, I was stuck on an island for 5 years.
Which was a lie.
I don't get cold, Barry.
Which was a lie. He wasn't on the island for 5 years.
Not.
Laurel dies in season 4. Just totally. If you thought the Laurel and Oliver train could have been redeemed, nope. It's dead and buried, literally, because Laurel is also dead and buried. Because that's the big hook of season 4. Is It opens
I think that's the mid-season finale. Is she dies, right?
No, I think it happens later.
Was it later? What was the mid-season finale for season 4? See how I don't remember because it's so bad.
That was that's Felicity getting crippled.
Oh right, because Oliver's just so I mean the big piece of this is Oliver runs for mayor.
Yeah,
because what happens is these people keep getting killed. The mayoral candidates keep getting killed because
Damien Dark's trying to take over the city.
Right, he doesn't want a mayor in place to combat anything he's doing. And so Oliver's just I'm pretty tough to kill. What if I'm the mayor?
Yeah, because Dark's whole plan is to nuke the world.
Yeah,
and he creates a safe haven city underground. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
But yeah, so the whole hook of season 4 in the beginning is Oliver's at a funeral at some time in the future, and Barry's there, and he's like, "I'm so sorry this happened to you," and you're like, "Ooh." That's the big corny hook of season 4. Right. He's like, who's in the grave, and you find out it's Laurel, and you're like, and then the less said about season 4, the better.
I don't have a lot.
Oliver gets magical powers to combat Damien Dark's magical powers.
He does.
He learns,
and then they just go to fisticuffs in the final episode. They just box,
and he kills Damien Dark.
But it didn't matter because oh my god, and it doesn't matter because Damien Dark comes back in the future or
several
in the past because of Legends of Tomorrow.
What else happened? Anything else in season 4 you want to talk about?
Who else do we get? We get Anarchy from DC Comics. Thea has a fling with her straight with her sharp jawline political campaign guy that was with Oliver. He dies. Sorry, Thea. You were always meant to be with Roy, no matter how many people need to die to be there.
No matter how many seasons of the show Colton Haynes isn't on.
Yeah, we don't care.
But then we get to season 5.
So little, backdrop to the actual real world. People knew, and they knew that season 4 was bad. They knew, and they said, we're going back to basics.
Yep.
They did 2 things. They went back to basics, and it's literally from the opening of season 5. They go back to basics.
The season 5 first episode is a direct homage to the pilot.
Right.
And it's not accidental.
No. So we get that, and then we also get the introduction of some of the best characters on this show, mainly Rene Ramirez, Mr. Cruz.
Yes, played by Rick Gomez of Coach Carter fame. He plays the same character.
Yeah, he does.
He plays a Coach Carter. He's a loose unit who doesn't play by the rules.
He can shoot from anywhere. Oh, he's so good.
So he gets his team of upstarts.
Right.
Curtis, who we've been introduced to in the past.
Right. He was in season 4 as Felicity's Felicity.
Yeah, as the tech guy.
Because she does the same thing. She goes to him and she's just like, I need you to analyze this. And he's just like, why does this look like this is from a Green Arrow crime scene? She's just like, don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Yeah, so he wants to help the city. And then we get Evelyn, whatever her last name is.
Evelyn Sharp.
Artemis.
You're
Artemis
from DC Comics.
But plot
you know
twist.
What sucks? Go ahead with the plot twist. I'm going to tell you what sucks about this.
She is a bad guy.
Yeah. You know what sucks about all this? All these children that Robert Queen was having, why could they not make it so that her and Oliver were related?
Because she had to be a bad guy and she had to be dealt with at the end of the season.
And then they already kind of did that in season 7 too. If
you thought she was going to be the important kind of Artemis from the comics,
and from Young Justice, that was probably the Artemis cop that everybody knew.
Nope.
See you later. You were
Dolph Lundgren is the big bad of the flashbacks.
Yeah, he is. Shout out Dolph Lundgren.
So this is the final flashback season because this is year 5. He's in Russia now, and he's being trained by
KGBs from DC Comics.
Also,
Anatoly Knyazev.
And he's also being trained by Talia al Ghul.
Oh yeah, you're Talia al Ghul from DC Comics.
Because he can't escape those Batman allegations.
No, he can't.
So she, as it turns out, was the one that forged him into the Arrow, essentially.
Yeah, he even gets the hood and sees it, like, he has the hood in Russia, but nobody knows.
Yeah, so Talia 4's, and he basically just needs to stop Dolph Lundgren, essentially. But also needs to get back to the island.
Right.
Because he's like, they need to think I was there the whole time.
Right.
So that's fun.
He gets a wig.
But the big bad of season 5, for real, is Prometheus.
Yes. Let's wait to say who Prometheus is, because this was a 180 twist, because they set two things up that were just so
Prometheus, good. There's a lot of things going on here.
Yeah.
So there's 3 key characters here. There's Prometheus, there's Vigilante, aka Vigilante, who more people will know from Peacemaker now, I think. And then there's Adrian Chase.
You've got Chase's younger brother, right?
So Adrian Chase, Vigilante, and Prometheus are all introduced in this season. And because they did this on purpose. Because...
And they even go as far, because, like, you gotta know, like, it's like, just to throw something out, like, Ralph Dibny being the like, they're just not gonna bait and switch and be like, oh, that's just somebody. No, it's good. But this one they did it.
So you think the whole time Adrian Chase is Vigilante because
like,
the comics,
right? Like,
and Prometheus was an interesting choice as a villain because he's a Batman villain.
He's not even only a Batman villain. He's more of like a larger scale villain too, like somebody that's like got powers and like a little bit more integral to like bigger plots too. So,
but in this, he's as he is a dark reflection of Batman. Prometheus in the show serves as a dark reflection of the Green Arrow, and you're like, who's the man in the mask? Who's the man in the mask?
Who did they think it was? What were some of the theories running around while this was coming out?
I think a lot of people at the time thought it might have been Tommy.
Right. That's what I thought too. For a long time, I thought it was, because at this point in their defense, the crossover this season was Crisis on Earth X.
No. This was the Dominators.
Oh, right. This was the first one when Legends was a thing, right?
Yeah. The Dominators was season 5.
So cool. So the Dominators were a thing. Oh, just to really quick go over it. Supergirl showed up on this Earth. Barry's just like, I met a friend, and she's super.
Yeah.
You're Supergirl from DC Comics, aren't you?
This is the season where the crossovers get really big, and they incorporate a bunch of different stuff, which is cool, which is part of the shared universe thing. But, spoiler alert, walk away now if you don't want to know this, Adrian Chase is Prometheus.
Holy crap. Man.
And he, as you mentioned earlier, is like the mental foil for Oliver. He breaks him.
Yeah, he does.
In one of the most emotionally resonant scenes in this whole thing.
Remember when I was talking about how Stephen Amell's come so far from being just like he fit the archetype of what they wanted for their Oliver Queen versus like he was actually acting this time. Like, this is how far he came.
Yep.
Man. I did it and I liked it.
Oh yeah. So Oliver confesses that he enjoyed killing people,
and that's what he wanted. So the big reveal for Adrian Chase and why he is doing this to Oliver is that one of those villain of the week Robin Hood-esque villains that he had was Adrian Chase's father that he killed. And he's just like, you just killed my father. Like, just because you had some book, you felt it right to kill my father. Like, you took a father away from his son just because you had some book that your father told you to execute.
Yep. Oh, man, it's nuts.
He's so good. I just love how they're just like... Because essentially, Adrian Chase is, what is he, the DA at this point?
Yeah.
So
and Oliver's the mayor.
Right, so Oliver's mayor, he's DA, and they're
friends.
They're friends before the reveal, and after the reveal, they still have to go to work and act like everything's normal. Oh, it's so good.
It's really great. Also, Laurel's back. Right after the Dominator crossover. And that segues from that crossover because the Dominators put Oliver and company in this alternate kind of dream state.
Right, so the 100th episode of Arrow just so happened to fall on the crossover event. So they could have went one of two ways. They could have been like, all right, we'll wait till the mid-season finale to do all of our festivities, but I'm glad they did it, and it just lends credence to the fact that the Arrow is the show that that props up to the Arrowverse itself.
And this is my big argument for why Oliver and Laurel should have been a thing, because it traps Oliver in his ideal life. And what's his ideal life? He's married to Laurel.
Not Felicity, who he got shot the next episode. No, that was last season.
That was last season, yeah.
Still. What a bad thing he did. Why would he lure Felicity in there just to get shot like that?
So yeah, after following that crossover, Oliver's alone in the lair and Laurel shows up and you're like, what is happening? And you're like, oh, this is interesting. But it's not that interesting because it's Black Siren You're Black Siren from DC Comics.
You're Black Siren from Earth 2. You're Earth 2 from DC Comics.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Flash at this point...
Thanks a lot, Flash.
The Flash at this point had introduced the idea of the Infinite Earths, which is fun. And you're like, is that ever going to lead to something? Yep.
Yeah. I would have a personal crisis if that didn't lead to anything.
And then we finally get to our final Black Canary. The real Black Canary. Because she's a metahuman known as Tina Boland. And then she's like, she pulls the Joseph Gordon-Levitt from Dark Knight Rises.
You should go by your real name. Dinah Laurel Lance from DC Comics. But her name's Dinah Drake this time.
Yeah.
Which, what is it in the comics? It's something Drake is the second Black Canary, something like that.
Yeah, and she's like proper Black Canary.
Right. She's got the powers.
Yep, she's a metahuman at this point, and
she had a lover.
Yep,
she had a guy. So she was in Central City when the particle accelerator exploded, and her mans were there. And who's this man? Find out next on season 6. So yeah, so let's go. So season 5's progressing. Oliver and Chase have their, they have that section. There's just Oliver's broken after this,
and he has a son.
Oh, we forgot about the son, William.
The worst.
William sucks, man.
Yeah. That's all you need to know about William.
Yeah.
And also, it almost ruins Felicity and Oliver's relationship because he lied about it.
That was like the other thread in season 4, during the crossover specifically.
So yeah, Chase really hones in on William, and he's like, I got your son. And guess what? Because at this point, you think that season 5 would be the final season of Arrow. So we're going back to where it all started. We're going back to the island, and Chase has his crew. It's him. Talia's back. She's like, you didn't listen to me, Oliver, and that's a bad thing. He gets Evil Laurel, and is there anyone else?
Yeah, there is. Digger Harkness from DC Comics is there.
That's right. Well, he's originally on Oliver's side.
Right, yeah, but it's Digger Harkness.
Because Oliver's like, I need my own team. Because my regular team got kidnapped.
Well, it's the prison, too. It's the prison on Lian Yu.
Yeah.
Where, who else is there?
Yeah, Manu Bennett's back.
Yeah.
The moratorium on Deathstroke ended.
Yeah.
So Arrow could use him again.
Right, and basically the Mirakuru kind of wore off, and did it wear off, or did he just...
he said it wore off. Like,
right.
The effects are long behind me, is what he says.
But he's still a trained assassin.
Yeah. So Oliver, his regular crew got kidnapped. So he's got this crew of people that he can't trust. So it's him, it's Nyssa, it's Merlin. This is awesome. It's him, Nyssa, Merlin, Digger Harkness, and Deathstroke, and they're gonna go free Oliver's friends and fight Adrian Chase.
Green Arrow Civil War.
And then Captain Boomerang's a bad guy, so he turns on Oliver. He's like, I don't need a gun, mate, because Chase gave me this brand new one. You're like, man. And then they have a big fight again, and then for my money, this is the best finale in the whole of the whole show. When Chase is, again, we're doing mirroring, so they're on a boat, it's Chase, Oliver, and William, and he's like, now you have to choose, because my life is, there's a dead man switch where if I die, the island explodes and kills your loved ones. So either you kill me and kill them, or I kill your son.
Yeah.
And Oliver fires, he disarms Chase, and you think, like, that's it. And then Chase is like, I knew you would do that. And much like Robert Queen does, Chase commits suicide, and the island explodes. Crazy ending.
And it ends. That's it. There's no clip, there's no beat, there's no hope. It's over.
He lost again. And then we get to season 6, which is...
Ricardo Diaz.
Yeah, Richard Dragon gets introduced.
I thought they were going to do way more hand-to-hand.
I know. It's disappointing.
Yeah, because Richard Dragon from DC Comics and the little research that I did, like, that man is an issue. And, like, I feel like the way that... Because, like, another thing that happened, like, the whole season 3 thing, like, he beat the guy that's supposed to be the greatest hand-to-hand fighter in the world. So, like, that would be a great thing to pit him against Richard Dragon. Like, it's like the best of both of his worlds kind of colliding into this. Like, this... corporate, not espionage, but like this, this big, not this big guy, but like this big, figure that's coming by that's just like, hey, I'm gonna, destroy your legacy as Oliver Queen. I'm gonna upend everything. I want Star City to be mine because I'm the villain of the year. There's villains of the week. There's villains of a little bit, and then there's villains of the season. Richard Dragon is unfortunately a little bit forgettable.
In this season, anyway, because
He comes back.
well, he's like the beginning big bad of season 7, because season 6's big bad is, who is he? Just some guy. Who is that guy?
Oh, it's Caden James.
Yeah.
Well, it's reversed. So Caden James, you think is the big bad, and then you find out that it's Richard Dragon.
Because they said, we got Michael Emerson for this season. He has to be the villain.
That's right. That's right.
Season 6 is decent, but it's mostly forgettable.
Yeah, I think it's worse than 3, but it's better. Well, everything's better than 4. There's nothing to even come close to 4.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's mostly forgettable. Roy comes back this season.
Yeah,
though. We get a neat little arc for Roy, but season 6 on the whole, I think the best part of season 6, honestly, is the Crisis on Earth X stuff.
Yeah. You had to remind me of a certain death that came out of that.
Yeah. So, again, another big bombastic crossover event.
The best one outside of... I think this is the best one.
I think it's tighter than Crisis. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Well, Crisis on Infinite Earths is like doing the Infinity War. And it's tough to top that because of how, big and bold it went. But, man...
Earth X is really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's it does so much character work in Earth X. I think that's the best part about it. And, it takes care of all of its characters. Nobody kind of gets left in the dust. You talk about Supergirl. Supergirl's, they have them train against Supergirl because they're just No, that's in... My bad. That was last season. But Earth X it's the dark reflections of all of them. And it showed the current state of the Arrowverse at the time, too. That was the big thing for me of, look at what your dark reflections... what they can do. So,
yeah,
man, it's good stuff.
Yeah. But as you said, Ricardo Diaz is kind of outed as the bigger bad. But season 6 does have the big dust up between Dick and Oliver.
You have to have it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of the best acting performances out of David Ramsey and Stephen Amell that you get in this entire show, where they come to terms with each other's darknesses, essentially. Where Oliver's I left this life behind. I trusted you to do this, and Dig was well, we trusted you to stick around. You can't just be a part-time hero, right? And
you know what I love about it? I love how much that he's that Oliver's I don't care about any of this. We have actual problems to deal with. And he tells him you're mad you didn't get a promotion. I don't care.
Yeah. So good. And then
you leave a trail of bodies everywhere you go. Well, at least one of those bodies wasn't my own brother.
Crazy. But like I said, season 6, for the most part, pretty forgettable until the end, where the status quo changes forever, where Oliver publicly announces that he's the Green Arrow, and he goes to jail, which is a big deal.
He's locked up.
He's locked up, and that's where season 7 picks up for the first 7 episodes.
I believe something like that, yeah.
It's the prison arc, and, the showrunners hyped up this prison arc, and it mostly lives up.
Oh, no, it's good. It's
expectations.
For my comic fans, it feels like what they're doing with Daredevil right now, having him in jail and having Elektra be kind of Daredevil right now, just him being in prison, the prospect of,
Well, this is also a big Green Arrow comic arc, too.
Right, yeah.
Where he's trapped in a prison with a bunch of super criminals.
Right. And then obviously also in season 7 you get the Longbow Hunters as well, which is that's a pretty classic.
But they're not used very well.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, so and then Ricardo Diaz is dealt with very early on in this season. At the end of the prison arc, he's the 7th episode he's dealt with.
Yep. Man, that fight with him and Bronze Tiger, because essentially Bronze Tiger's just I'm not a bad guy, I just had to do some things for myself. That's usually the way it goes. They strike a deal, they're man, we're getting out this prison. Anything. Yep. Well, you find out, which is a good plot thread, that Bronze Tiger has a son. Hang on to that. Hang on.
Yeah. And then what else happens in
Well,
season 7?
The thing that happens is that there's another Green Arrow that's running around out there, and you're who the heck is this guy?
And again, the theory started running rampant, and then
it's Felicity. Nope, that was never a theory. Just kidding.
It's Oliver's got a long lost sister.
Because Robert Queen's the worst.
This is where the father thing kind of comes to a head.
Yep.
Where Oliver finds out, damn, my dad actually sucks.
That's horrible.
He had So he had Emiko out of wedlock, and then he basically shoot her off.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going back to my rich actual family.
Yeah. And Emiko and her mother were under the impression that
he was going to leave Moira and come with that
and take care of them,
yeah.
And that doesn't happen. So Emiko holds on to that, and then she takes up the mantle of the Green Arrow, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm your sister! Like, this is great." Plot twist: she's the villain.
Yeah, she's the villain.
Who's the villain now, Flash? What else happens in season 7? So the big crossover is Elseworlds.
Yes. So this was all it had to happen. It's one of those things you didn't know you needed it until you got it. Oliver Queen becomes the Flash and Barry Allen becomes Green Arrow.
Yes.
Greg Gustin put on some muscle for this.
Yeah.
Stephen Amell was having fun. It was great.
This is also the much hyped first appearance of Ruby Rose.
Yes,
as Batwoman.
Yeah. So this is the prelude. So okay, it starts out normal, like, why am I waking up as Barry Allen, and then why am I waking up as Oliver Queen? And it's not like they switch spots in like a timeline, like what they appear to the other people around them as each other. So it's like somebody's messing with something. Guess what we get in this? Supergirl's back, cool. We get Tyler Hoechlin as Superman in this. So yeah. Superman's first crossover appearance.
And he's so good.
Dan.
He's so good at Superman.
He's great.
We even get him, not him, but we also get Black Suit Evil Superman. Good looking black suit.
Yeah. The costume design is
But most
solid.
importantly, the big thing is that the Monitor is introduced.
Oh no, not the Monitor from DC Comics.
The Monitor is introduced, and he's like,
something is coming. That's literally how he talks. Something is upon us, Green Arrow.
And we also get John Wesley Shipp back as the Flash.
Not the Flash from the 90s.
Yeah, he's the Flash of Earth 90. And he's like,
I see what they did there.
And he's like, why are you doing this, Monitor? Why are you destroying worlds? And the Monitor's like, I need to find the best Earth that's ever Earthed.
Yeah. We're doing Battle World from Secret Wars.
And he's got this magic book.
Yeah. Don't open it. Oh my gosh. Add it to the list of books we don't open. And the
then,
Darkhold. Don't open it.
Yeah. So we get Elseworlds, but there's something far more sinister going on with Elseworlds than just Elseworlds. We're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths.
We're doing Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Because at the end of Elseworlds, Oliver and the Monitor are in a room together. And so the proviso behind saving the Elseworlds crisis from happening is the Barry Allen and Supergirl have to die. That's what has to happen. And Oliver strikes this backdoor deal with the Monitor. You don't know what it is. He's like, we need to talk, Monitor. Cut to Oliver having a kryptonite arrow to stop the evil Superman. And you don't know what the deal is.
Don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. No. You don't know what you don't know. No.
Yeah.
What season 7 also does is, instead of flashbacks, we have flash forward.
Right, the structure is so smart because what lacks in the Chemico payoff or the Emiko payoff pays, like, it's another, it makes it feel a little bit better by the time it gets to like the flash forward stuff, because it's a nice comp. Like, what you didn't feel for that, you're feeling for this. William's back, but it's not young William.
Yeah. So we are in Star City 2040.
And you're like, what? Yeah. William's there. There's some other people there. There's a woman cage fighting in there.
Yes.
Yeah. And she's pretty dang good.
Yeah, and you're like, who is this?
Who's this? What's this? I like it. Picasso.
I like it a lot. So Kat McNamara is in season 7 of Arrow, who a lot of people will know from Shadowhunters, and a great get for the show. She's
just real rugged and rough, and she's got this anger. They pulled the Leia from the end of Obi-Wan. You got all these traits from your mother. She got none of the traits from her mother. She got everything from her father, which is, I need a classic. I need one.
Dun dun dun.
Oliver's kid. That's him and Felicity's daughter.
Yeah, Mia. She goes by Mia Smoke because she wants nothing to do with her dad.
Yeah.
So what's going on in this 2040 plot?
So Renee's there.
Yep. He's the mayor?
Yeah, he's the mayor. Well, you find out that Star City itself is, like, destroyed. Like, it's really, It's basically, not a great place to be, but the Glades, funny enough, it's like a good switch out. The Glades itself is like really, it's the place to be. You want to be in the Glades.
There's a Deathstroke gang?
Yeah, led by
Diggs' real son.
Diggs' real son.
JJ.
But you think Diggs got his actual son. Guess who that actual son is in 2040?
It's Bronze Tiger's son.
Huh?
He's also your Connor Hawke from DC Comics.
Hawke from DC Comics.
Who unfortunately does not become the Green Arrow of 2040.
No. I think... Well, I was going to say missed opportunity, but the reason that they did that was because of the... I think it's more because of Mia was being propped up to be the new Green Arrow, should they have chosen to, do another season.
So, yeah, that's a big part of the 2040... Of season 7 is the 2040 plot and what's going on with that. And the big ending of the 2040 plot is Mia accepts her mantle as the future Green Arrow. Mm-hmm. Cool.
She gets a really good fight sequence on the... Were they on, like, the roof? They were on, like, a roof ledge thing, and, like... it's good stuff. And
it also pays off because Felicity's pregnant in the current day, and you're like, oh, okay. And then,
same thing they did with the Flash. Like, it's the same, like, this kid's coming, but this...
Yeah, so Oliver, again, he retires again. For good this time. Mm-hmm. He retires for good, and him and Felicity get into a cabin after all the Emiko stuff is dealt with, and then the Monitor shows up, and he's like, it's time to pay the piper. Mm-hmm. And then you find out that, like, the deal was you have to help with Crisis in order...
Well, Oliver said, and you kind of get it together, but it's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself so Supergirl and the Flash can live on, because I'm just the man, but, like, they genuinely give their cities hope.
Yep. And then cue the final season of Arrow.
Which is... So, like I said earlier, it's so smartly done the way they integrated it into Crisis. Instead of like season 8 being its own, it does 3 things. It's your all-star Superman for Green Arrow for
That's
Oliver
exactly
Queen.
What this is.
Yep. I was watching a recap for it, and I was like, it was.
Every episode...
It's the trials. It's like the trials of what makes... It's not the Green Arrow, but what makes Oliver Queen.
Every episode of Season 8 up until Episode 8, which is the Crisis episode, is a love letter to various moments and seasons of the show. And as far as series finales go, it's one of the best.
Oh my gosh.
It's such old characters come back. He goes back to old locations. He goes to China.
That episode with him and Lance... The
Groundhog Day episode.
Oh, so incredible.
Yeah, there's that. He goes to an alternate Earth. And that's where you first see the Crisis thing happening, is in that first episode of season 8, where he's on an alternate Earth where Tommy's still alive, Oliver died on this Earth, and Adrian Chase is the Green Arrow.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good.
And at the end of that episode, you see the Earth is destroyed. That Earth is destroyed. The Monitor brings Oliver back, and Oliver's like, what the hell was that? And the Monitor explains to him, like, there's a bad thing coming. All the Earths are being destroyed.
Yeah. And I need the help of the Green Arrow and the heroes of this. I think he tells him, like, this Earth is the Earth. Like, this is the one that I've been searching for. That I need the champions of this Earth.
Yeah.
To fight it's not his brother, but my evil cousin Greg, aka the big old anti-monitor from DC Comics.
Yeah, so
is the villain.
We do a proper Crisis on Infinite Earths. One of the big things that happens in episode 3 is time travel.
Yeah. Time travel.
Mia and the 2040 crew are brought back in time and she shares a really touching scene with Oliver where she's like, Dad? And he's like, oh my God, like you're my daughter from the future. This is crazy. And then she kind of becomes his apprentice. And it's really cool. Like, they do the tennis ball thing together. It's really cool. And then cue Crisis on Infinite Earths, where in the first episode of Crisis... the bill comes due. Yeah. Always. And Oliver sacrifices himself for the good of the people of Earth 38.
Anti-Monitor, you have failed this universe.
Not yet. This is the first time he dies.
Oh, crap. Oh, he does die multiple times.
The Monitor says, like, I calculate that 3 billion souls were saved because of his noble sacrifice. And Barry and Supergirl are there. Sarah's there, and Oliver dies in the first episode of this crossover. And Dig has a real tough time with it. They try to revive him with the Lazarus Pit.
Yeah.
Doesn't work. He comes back like bloodlusted, and they're like, crap. Like, this isn't gonna work. So they put him in the ground for good, and then he's in like hell. Well, he's in purgatory.
Right.
And they team up with Mia, Dig, and Constantine's back.
Yep.
Team up with Tom Ellis.
Yeah.
You're Lucifer from the Sandman series.
Oh man, what a crossover this was.
So they go with Lucifer to Purgatory to retrieve Oliver's soul, and Oliver's like, I'm not coming back. And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're not coming back? And then what happens?
What happens?
He becomes...
Oh my gosh. He becomes the Spectre.
Whoa!
So, notoriously, in terms of the grander schemes of DC Comics, the whole big thing, because this plays so many things. Like, it does also feel like this is like a Green Arrow rebirth. Like, this is Green Arrow, like All-Star Green Arrow, like all these things culminated into here. So essentially he becomes the Spectre, just like Hal Jordan was in the New 50, or not in the New 52, in Green Lantern Rebirth. What an incredible...
And in Purgatory he's with, you're Jim Corrigan from DC Comics.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, you're
gonna take my spot now.
Yeah.
How'd you get there in the first place, bud? Never explained.
Because he's the Spectre.
Well, how did he get there? Because Oliver had to get there.
Well, Oliver was in Purgatory.
But how did you... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this. Lex Luthor's like a big piece in this crossover. He's one of the Paragons in this crossover.
Black Lightning is in this?
Yeah, the GOAT. Black Lightning.
We get heaps. I can't even calculate the amount of callbacks.
Oh my gosh.
Brandon Routh returns as Superman Returns Superman.
God, so good.
Well, he's Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah.
Great suit.
A thing I never thought I'd see in live action.
And he's so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, I think that Brandon Routh's such an underrated Superman on top of that.
He's so good as Kingdom Come Superman. Like, he really personifies that true justice and a better tomorrow. Like, he's frustrated. He's basically universe hopping, trying to save as many people as he can, and he's frustrated because he keeps losing. He keeps losing Earths, and they're like, and he's like, how do you keep doing this?
Right.
Like, the regular Lois Lane is like, how do you keep pushing on? He's like, because I have to.
Yeah. This is what heroes do.
Who else is in it? Tom Welling's back?
Tom Welling's back. As just Clark Kent, but still a great callback.
You find out, because Lex Luthor is like trying to kill all Supermen.
Right, yeah. He finds this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because he got the book. He got the magic book.
Oh my god.
And he's going to destroy all Supermen.
What's that book called?
I forget.
Ah.
And he's going to destroy all Supermen, so he gets to Smallville Earth, and he's like, now die, Superman, here's kryptonite. And Tom Welling just picks up the kryptonite and he throws it.
Yeah.
And he's like, what?
I gave up my powers a long time ago.
Great. It was great seeing Tom Welling again. That was awesome. Flash of Earth 90 sacrifices himself because the Flash must die.
Yeah.
This is a big culmination of the Flash's storyline.
Like, this is everything, because, I mean, for Crisis on Infinite Earths, the comic, like, the Flash is such because this is like the sacrifice of a hero. Like, that didn't happen a lot for a hero. Like, this isn't like, you know, a BC. Like, this is one of your A-list Justice League members sacrificing themselves.
But it's a bait and switch. It's Flash of Earth 90 who gives up his life. And then Oliver returns as the Spectre. He had to become something else.
Yeah.
He finally became something else.
Yeah, didn't he switch his monologue for his opening monologue to be the Spectre?
Yeah, he did.
He did the same thing for when he was Barry, too. That was cool.
That was very fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. And then, so they have a big fight with the Anti-Monitor, the Paragons of everything. So it's all the main characters.
Right.
So you have...
Ryan Choi's there. I'm Ryan Choi from DC Comics.
That's right, he was there. So all
he was important.
So all the main characters plus Ryan Choi are there. So Sarah's the Paragon of something. Barry's the Paragon of something.
Who's it? Barry. It's Barry.
Sarah.
Barry, Sarah, Ryan, Lex.
Well, Superman. It was supposed to be Superman.
Right, but he switched right.
But Lex was like, I'm not.
Lex.
Who else? Was there another one? No, right?
No, there was more. There was 7.
Kate? Did you say Kate already?
No,
Kate
I
Kane?
didn't. Yeah. So Batgirl, and I'm missing somebody. I can't remember.
Dig?
No, it wasn't Dig.
Shoot.
So this is all the ones that were left alive.
But no, it wasn't Black
Ezra Miller's in this.
Oh, that's right. That's more on the Flash side of things, but yes, Ezra Miller does pop up in Crisis interacting with Grant Gustin. Unbelievable. Burt Ward is in this.
Burt
briefly.
Ward's in this, yep. We got Kevin Conroy's in this.
As Kingdom Come Batman.
Yeah. Evil, though.
Yeah.
Evil.
Clark.
He's
so good as Batman.
What a Boy Scout.
And then Oliver, so this is the second death. Mm-hmm. Oliver sacrifices himself.
This is the one that hurts.
To destroy the Anti-Monitor. You have failed this universe. And yeah, that's the end of Oliver Queen. That's where his story ends. What an ending. Like, you talked about like the MCU's journey, like starting with just Iron Man. Think about Oliver Queen's journey in the Arrowverse.
Oliver Queen was the most central character to this whole thing. Same thing with Iron Man. Like, he's the guy.
He started as just a guy with a mission to save his city. Mm-hmm. And then he became the Spectre.
Wow.
And then, so the episode after Oliver dies is what would have been the backdoor pilot for a Green Arrow and Canaries spin-off show, which would have featured Katie Cassidy as Earth 2 Laurel, who has now become Black Canary. Dinah Lance, who is the Black Canary, and then Kat McNamara's Mia Queen as the Green Arrow. Show never took off, unfortunately. We never got that show. And then episode 10 was just the finale. It was the love letter to Oliver Queen. There's like a mission with like William getting kidnapped, but it all plays a backdrop to the ode to Oliver Queen. Because we're properly burying him, and then we get some season 1 flashbacks, and that's it. What
a show. What a run. What a character that Stephen Amell crafted in the writers of Arrow.
It really is his own. Like, he really made the Green Arrow his own.
Right.
And that's an awesome thing, because as much as in the superhero genre, I feel like sometimes the character defines the actor, and not the other way around. But in this case, this is that Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Robert Downey Jr. case of the actor crafting the character. And yeah. I
just can't say enough things about Stephen Amell, like how much he gave himself to everything that they did 100% every single time to give us the best show that we can. And like, that's why I like want to just say it over and over. Like, people are acting like these shows don't have like these huge budgets thrown at them. So it's like, it's cheesy. It's like, it is so difficult to do what they did. And then having all these shows spawn off of this is just a testament to how incredible this is.
Yeah, it spawned The Flash, it spawned Legends of Tomorrow. It's really responsible for everything that DC has done.
And if you want to go further, we're not getting the structure for some of these other like Marvel's Universe shows without Arrow either. Like, it probably helped so much just knowing some of these things. So man.
we got Dig being teased as a Green Lantern, but it never pays off.
Not yet. Because in Arrow Season 7, they do the thing where it's just like, his stepfather is
General Stewart.
And
you're like, wait a minute.
They did the Leo thing from
He finds a magic box in the series finale that has a green glowing thing in it. And you're like, ooh, fun.
Give him his own show.
And then, what a legacy. To the point where during the height of the pandemic, he was willing to return for a 9th season.
Yeah.
To help the CW during the pandemic.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm in Canada. I'm stuck here. I'm not working. Let's do another thing. That never obviously happened because you need more than that to do a season of TV, but it just shows that he still is attached to the character, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. Maybe
I do think he's going to come back for Flash Season 9.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think Flash Season 9, just the way that the Flash's character is set up in terms of like his power set and like what he does, like I think a couple things are going to come from Flash Season 9. I think we're going to get like the payoff to the entire Arrowverse is going to come to an end. Like it's going to either end or like it's going to be like finally it's all going to come together. And I also think that Barry Allen's, they're going to pay off the whole thing, that he's going to finally turn into the lightning bolt that comes back and, hits him, and then it's a full circle type of thing. So
because like Oliver told him, I don't think that lightning bolt struck you, Barry. I think it chose you.
Yep. Oliver Queen, man. The prophet he is.
And you're right. I do think he's going to come back to do something, whether that be in some sort of flashback,
he could be the Spectre
whether
again.
It be as the Spectre. Yep. I do think Stephen Amell will come back for the Flash finale. And that will be awesome.
Yep.
Because it'll be the first time that we have seen him since Crisis.
Yep. Agreed.
We even got Mia came back for the season of the Flash. So man. Missed opportunity.
And now
she's leading another show on the CW as Jared Padalecki's great grandmother in the Walker spinoff.
Yep.
So that's it. Any final thoughts?
I think I
Arrow?
already said all I can about Arrow. Thank you, Arrow, for being for knowing what type of show you were.
Yeah.
And not trying to copy, trying to take from anybody else. Like, you guys truly crafted your own show, which spawned one of my favorite TV shows of all time and some of my favorite characters. And I mean, if you want to get into it, like, in terms of like a big shared universe, like, it's the MCU, and I'm talking about like a shared comic. It's this is the second thing.
And it's, in terms of like, not scale, but in terms of like difficulty, it's almost harder to do this with TV.
There's no budget. Like, you don't have the same budget.
Smaller budget, more time to fill. Way more time to fill between multiple seasons of multiple TV shows.
And the characters that you're using, too, sometimes you weren't using... Because the movies probably were saying, you're not... Like, Amanda Waller... They killed Amanda Waller to get Viola Davis in the role for a movie.
And it's a testament that this Arrowverse became so popular that... we have the only not living, but you know what I mean. The only on-screen Superman currently running is Tyler Hoechlin's Superman.
And on top of that, Ezra Miller from the movies came back to do a cameo in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. So that does not happen without Arrow.
Yeah, the only on-screen TV appearances of Superman and Batman have come from the Arrowverse. We finally got Kevin Conroy.
Finally got it
in live action.
You don't get that without some rich, spoiled kid getting trapped on an island and telling himself, I need to save my city.
Giving us glorious inner monologues for the first few episodes of season 1.
The police think they have their man. They don't.
What they don't know is the man in the hood was there that night. Oh, it came such a long way.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Whoever finds this Arrow guy gets $1 million. That wasn't the Arrow guy, it was the Hood. He was the Hood to start. He even got the Hood when he was the Spectre.
Yeah, he did. Man, now you're going to make me want to binge watch that show again.
Well, because you're inevitably about to ask me, what have you been doing?
Have you been watching Arrow?
Nope.
Dang.
I've been watching the other thing.
The Flash?
Nope. I mean, the other side of the coin to the Marvel stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing an MCU rewatch. And I'm not talking just the movie thing. I'm doing everything. I started with Iron Man 1, and I'm on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 4. We're doing it all. We're doing the shows. We're getting down to Cloak and Dagger. We're getting all the nitty-gritty.
I love Cloak and Dagger so much.
So underrated. That's season 1. It's good stuff.
Oh, God.
They crossed over they did The Runaways, and The Runaways was good. Remember season 1 of The Runaways? We were watching week to week. We were like, is this actually like...
That was only on Hulu, too.
That was only on Hulu. We were like, is this like...
Is this good?
Is this good? And we were like, is this good? They played that young adult genre so well.
Yeah. Yeah. Go back and watch Cloak and Dagger and The Runaways.
You know something else everybody should do? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you turned off after season 1, go back. Because once they get... I say it every time. When they stopped caring about the MCU, it became one of my favorite shows. Like, that... season 3 to season 4 run they had was so good because I said it before, one of the best decisions they made was to push the time slot back to 10 o'clock so they can do more, like they can get some like darker stuff off, and it works.
Arrow did that too.
Arrow did that 5. Too. Yeah, they went from 8 to 9, and it helps you, like that's just an like a rating system for television.
It's an older demographic also.
Right.
Doing 9 to 10.
Yep, kids are to bed. We can get into it. Man, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I always say it, my 3 favorite characters. It's Tony Stark, it's Daredevil obviously is the top one, and it's Fitz from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are my 3 favorite characters in the MCU. Really
yeah.
Do something!
Man, the framework arc?
Oh my gosh. That man came down, dripped out. He was dripped out in the suit.
Oh man.
He said, what if Fitz but evil?
But man, the MCU, huh? That's an endeavor.
Yeah. The whole thing.
Wow.
Well, I got a little time on my hands.
Fair.
Yeah. So, we're doing it.
Cool.
That first part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it's a little bit of a chore, I'm not gonna lie. But after the Winter Soldier reveal, that's when the show really because that's all that was predicated on. It was they needed to get there. Yeah. I think the issue with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like they didn't know what type of show they were because they didn't have a hero in the show. Like it was Coulson, but they didn't have like a hero to be like, all right, this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But we had like they had Quake, but they had like they didn't have her yet.
Right.
We needed to get 3 more seasons after to get that. So man, watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Watch Cloak and Dagger. Watch Runaways.
That's all on Disney Plus now, right?
Yeah, it is. Everything should be. I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure.
know if Cloak and Dagger is.
No, I don't think Cloak and Dagger is, but I think
Runaways definitely is.
Yeah, and then everything should be on Disney Plus.
Yeah, the Cloak and Dagger is still on Hulu.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to get to. You know what I'm waiting to get to. I'm waiting to get to Daredevil so I can go back through that. But it's fun. It's like perspective because this whole multiverse stuff that we're talking about, like I keep thinking about it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I genuinely think that like. What happened is like they're on a divergent timeline. That's why all of this is happening. Like same thing with all these other shows. Like Runaways had a big time travel piece because of he peered into the future. Like that could have set a divergent timeline that the TVA needed to cut off. Like I hope. Like I don't know if the logistics behind getting all these actors, but because I keep hearing rumors that Chloe Bennett's going to return in something, which I think we're
getting a version of Nico Minaro in Spider-Man freshman year.
Yeah, and I think we were right about that in the fact that it is like
an alternate universe.
It is like it would have happened this way.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Sylvie. You ruined everything. You just had to kill him.
What have I been doing?
Yeah, what you been doing? Playing Multiversus?
Hell yeah! I'm putting so much time into that game.
Yeah, that game. I see so many people playing that game
because you know what it is. It's fun.
LeBron.
It's LeBron. It's easy to pick up and play. You can put, and they really stress the co-op kind of aspect to it. Like when you go into matches, like they recommend you do 2v2s instead of 1v1s. So you're just finding matches. It's cross-platform, so you can be on PlayStation and cross-play with someone on Xbox, someone on PC, and the netcode is great, so like the online doesn't lag. It has amazing characterizations. It's easy to pick up and play. It's literally like one button for regular attacks, one button for special attacks.
LeBron can dunk.
LeBron can dunk. It's really great.
In a game where you have Arya Stark and Finn from Adventure Time.
Fully voiced by their actors, aside from LeBron, who has a voice actor for him.
Missed. They should have had LeBron.
And it's great. Like Kevin Conroy voices Batman, George Newbern voices Superman.
Tara Strong
voices Harley Quinn, and I believe Raven from Teen Titans is coming down the pipeline, so she'll also be voiced by Tara Strong. But yeah, you know, there's exciting things down the pipeline. Rick and Morty are coming in a couple weeks to that game. They already implemented the Rick and Morty stage into the game, and it nails it. Like it has great characterizations. That's what keeps you coming. It's free to play.
Yep. Somebody said like Smash. This might be the new age Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's totally free to play. Like if you want to grind for currency to unlock new characters, but
Daddy's credit card
or do that. the characters rotate every couple weeks as far as like what characters start unlocked. I think they rotate 4 in and out every week, but when you actually unlock a character, you get them for the duration of the game. And yeah, just based on what the developers are saying, really exciting things coming to that game. There's rumors that Scorpion and Sub-Zero are coming from Mortal Kombat. Neo is potentially coming.
Oh my god, Neo in that game would be... No, if they're going to put Neo, they got to put Morpheus in there too.
Godzilla is rumored to appear.
Yes. I love it.
It's, yeah, you know, like I said, Raven from Teen Titans, Robin, obviously. They have a whole plethora of DC characters that they can choose from.
That's what I'm saying. They have, like, it's Warner Brothers. They have a lot they can...
I said this to somebody, I think I might have said it like on an online forum, that I would love to see them do CW versions of Supergirl, Green Arrow, and Flash.
Well, I was thinking about that for like Batman, like having like Robert Pattinson's Batman, Christian Bale's Batman, like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, they have some pretty neat alternate skins. They have the Superman 1 million skin, the Golden God Superman. Obviously, Batman the animated series, Batman, and it's just fun. You know, something that doesn't feel too grindy. Like you want to keep playing like more matches because you know you get matched up up with people that are your skill level, that even when you lose, like, it's still fun. Like, getting, like, thrown into, like, oblivion by Superman is, like, just fun.
Iron Giant's in this game.
Iron Giant is in this game. That's right. Finn and Jake from Adventure Time.
Right.
I think they said that Gandalf might be coming to Multiversus.
Put Harry Potter in here, too.
Harry Potter could be coming to Multiversus.
Who knows?
I'm having a blast with it.
Yeah.
I really am.
And so are a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not accounting for the console downloads, it is just from Epic Game Store, it is the most played fighting game of all time.
Wow. That's incredible.
It's the free-to-play model, man. I said this, I forget who I said it to, it could legitimately become the Fortnite of fighting games. Where you just hop into it, free to play. You can pay. You don't pay to win. Like, that's not a thing. You can pay to unlock new characters. You can pay to unlock new skins, but it's not like your payment doesn't make you better at the game. So, like, if you want to put money into, if you don't want to grind to unlock, Batman, you could just spend $5 and unlock Batman right off rip. But that's basically what Fortnite does. And this has even more characterization than that, because where Fortnite has the skins, you're still ultimately just a guy with a gun, essentially, in Fortnite. Whereas this game, like I said, fully voice cast. The characterizations are great. The character interactions are great. Like, Batman and Superman have some great, like, one-liners to each other.
Right.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about them. And it's still only in beta.
Yeah.
Like, it's still only in beta phase. Like, the full game's not even out and ready to go.
Right.
And so many people are playing it and enjoying it. I think that's awesome.
Shout out Multiverse. Shout out the Multiverse. Multiverse is just the thing. It's the fad these days.
Yeah.
And we hopped right on that train, didn't we?
We really did.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's going to do it for us this week. You can follow us on Twitter at ProjectINF_pod. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram
At the Project Infinite Pod.
Thank you very much. You can thank you by the way for everybody who supports us.
Yeah. Did solid numbers last week.
We did.
I looked and I was like, whoa.
I saw our pilot episode got some downloads last week. So
that warms my heart.
Hello, new listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners.
Some 54 weeks later.
Yeah. So if you downloaded the pilot and like what you heard and have been listening to every episode and are caught up to now, thank you. Because that's really awesome.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Next week
we'll talk.
We're kind of in a lull.
Yeah, I have some idea.
Maybe we'll do Nope.
There was an idea.
Maybe we'll do Jurassic World.
Nope. Oh man, we're too funny for our own good.
From the Grant Gustin, Barry Allen of the.
Thought you were gonna give me John Diggle, to which I would have crowned you because you deserve it, the Oliver Queen of this thing.
But every time I'm about to do something like that, you go, careful.
But that's the bit we need to keep going. You're Oliver Queen from DC Comics this week. Just like I'm John Diggle from the newly added DC Comics.
You're John Diggle from Arrow. They do that in the comics.
Yeah.
They do the reverse.
Yeah.
You're John Diggle from the Arrow TV show.
Am I John Diggle or am I John Stewart?
These questions.
Speaking of questions, She-Hulk's coming out soon. That'll be fun.
What was the question?
I don't know.
You gotta go.
We gotta go, man. Another great bit we keep every week because Jeffrey Wright's the GOAT. I love Jeffrey Wright.
All right, guys.
I can't believe they killed him in No Time to Die. How dare you?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
They didn't even kill him in the Hunger Games.
No, they didn't. And that's the place you kill people, is the Hunger Games. Not No Time to Die. There was no time to die and he died.
Put Katniss Everdeen in Multiverses.
Are they... Once we find out what production house did the Hunger Games movies, then we'll be back, because...
Alright, guys. Next week, we'll do a thing.
Yeah,
we'll let you know.
We'll do something.
We'll let you know when the episode comes out, what we're doing.
Yeah.
When it's titled.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Until then, we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Yep. Wow, you just jumped on me again.
2 weeks in a row. Oh, no. I've become the very thing I swore to destroy.
You have failed this podcast.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace.
Nailed it.
Got him.
Got him.